Fucking cocksuckers.
That was literally the first thing that went on air. Was you saying that, Troy?
Yes.
Welcome.
Excellent.
We were talking about, in case you were wondering who Troy was referring to, he was referring to the people who increased our sub prices, because it wasn't us, it was Twitch. And yeah, I think it's only $1 though, wasn't it? Right when we went $4.99 to $5.99
now.
$7.99.
It's $2 because
$2.
It was $6 before.
No, bastards. No, it was
it was $5.99, bro.
Yeah, I see. I see a
right.
gift sub. For me, it's $5.99 still.
That's interesting.
Go to send a gift sub. Maybe it's higher in Iowa.
Gift a subscription.
Yeah, dude. One gift is $7.99.
No, I'm still seeing $5.99 too. There must be some sort of Iowa. There must be some sort of Iowa. Yeah, there's an Iowa.
The price of corn.
Just like that's called the flyover adjustment.
My gift sub has 15% ethanol. Fuck me. Yes.
Your gift sub has 15% ethanol. That's politically moderate.
That's funny.
Yeah. So welcome to whoever's out there in internet land watching us tonight. We're not playing RuneQuest. We don't have a quorum of players. Too many people away and out or whatnot, but also it's spooky month, and traditionally we take a pause from whatever we're playing to play some spooky month games. So we're going to do that. I had hoped to avoid being the GM for the spooky month game since I'm also running RuneQuest and I don't want to always be the one sucking all the oxygen out of the room. But it appears that even in a group of 7 GMs, there's an always GM, and that asshole is me. So. Yes. I think perhaps just because of my age, that's what happens. So yeah,
you are
my
age,
which will be increasing next week.
We look up to the oldest. Always.
Yeah.
The elder gods,
the elder gods, the old gods of Appalachia. Hopefully, everyone's doing good in Appalachia. If you happen to be listening to us in Appalachia, we're here for you. We're certainly pulling for you because that sucks what happened. And like Appalachia, folk horror, Old Gods of Appalachia. We're playing a folk horror game tonight, so that's what we'll be doing. We have Wild Troy with us again. He's been away for a while, but we're happy to have him back. Life gets in the way. Troy actually saves real people's lives in his real life. So he's been busy doing that. But hey, tonight he's not. He's got off and he can be here.
Super excited to be back.
Yeah. Because this is the first time in it's been a while.
It's been 3 or 4 streams. It has been.
Streams. It's been because it was. I know it was pre-RuneQuest. It was right at the tail end of when we were doing Vicen. You were on. Yeah.
Yeah, I missed. I think the last mystery entirely. So I think
I think you were you missed the first episode of the last one, and then you got in for the second, and then missed the rest.
Yeah, I think that sounds about right. Yeah, because you were around long enough. You were around long enough to scold Rosaline for torturing a man to death, which was much appreciated.
The last mystery.
That wasn't the last. That was the second to last. Yeah, and I think after
I missed the whole last mystery.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. So it's been over 2 months. So I'm happy to be
4
back.
streams. Yeah. So we're happy to 4, maybe 5, depending on because sometimes you have that longer month where you get 3, but who's counting? All right. Well, welcome back, man. We have something real fun for you now that you're back tonight. we will be playing, I hinted on it a little bit on stream, a game called Don't Walk in Winterwood. Don't walk on Winterwood. It's in my almighty.
Don't walk with Winterwood.
Don't walk with Winterwood either. That certainly.
Tingle.
You know, if you have Winterwood that lasts longer than 4 hours, you probably should consult a physician.
Call your
leech,
local apothecary,
a leech, as they called them in those days. Hey, John, how you doing? But it's Don't Walk in Winterwood, and it is by Clint Krause, whose website I think is Red Moon Medicine Show, if I have that correct, redmoonmedicineshow.com. So it's a pretty cool little folk horror game. I don't remember where I got it, to be honest with you. I think I got it in one of those big itch bundles.
Yeah.
But it's in my hoard, and I dug it out, and here we are. So I can't think of anything we need to announce.
The other
I'll
half
just talk
of
a
those
little bit.
spots in Disney being a loser, so that's something.
Yeah.
Loser.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Loser.
Noble Knight Games.
The superior
So-
Blitz is here.
What happened with Noble?
I'm looking. I just looked it up. It's you can. I found it in Noble Knight Games publisher Red Moon Medicine Show.
Red Moon Medicine Show. Yep. Cool.
Looks like they have a plethora of other spooky things by the
Very
at
cool.
least covers of their stuff.
Very cool. Yeah.
Christian,
Noble
I
Knight's
think
great.
there's a this is going to be a one shot, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. There's a possibility that I may be able to run the next game because I'm off of school next week.
Cool.
Well, sort of.
Well, then that's
But
up.
yeah.
Then you just do something spooky. That's all. Don't care.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
We're going to go right into the system here, John. It is neither a D20 nor a proper superior D100.
It
That's
is
funny.
neither.
It is
But
neither.
it's not quite Fishblade.
The thing is, there's a lot of truth to that. I'll just do an aside and talk a little about game design here. There's a lot of truth to the fact that the D100 is a much better system, I think, personally. If you have, you got to look at D&D and RuneQuest, the Chaos House system, which is a D100 system, which has spawned a bunch of other systems, just like the D20 system has. Both of them pretty much 50 years old now, right?
Are they really?
Yes, they are. I've taught people to play D&D. I've taught people to play Call of Cthulhu and RuneQuest, and I've found that people understand percentages, just what John said. It's so easy to sit down and call. Most of my experience is just taking new people to play those games as Call of Cthulhu, and you just sit down and you don't have to explain the setting and the stuff like the way you have to do with RuneQuest. It's literally like, okay, you're in the 1920s in Arkham, and how do I do the system? Do you understand percentages? Yeah. You got an 80 in a skill, you got an 80% skill in it, you need to roll out under that. And everyone's like, oh, you see the lights go on, right?
Quick and easy, yeah.
Quick and easy. And Boys Night, Doc Boyd. And, I agree,
Thanks
man.
for 29 months.
29 months, dude. Yeah. So once again, Don't Walk in Winterwood, however, is neither a D20 system nor a D100 system game. It's a offset of a D6 system, as I guess one would call it. So the way it works is this is the pitch. You're going to get the exact pitch that I gave to these guys. All right. There's a village. You live in the village. The village is a colonial New England village somewhere in the late 1600s to early 1700s, pre-revolution. So we're talking about Puritans, witch burnings, being afraid of the woods, all those sorts of things that go along with that. Very, very New England Halloween-y. And the village has a stream called East Stream. And then the other side of East Stream or East Creek is Winterwood. And you don't want to go into Winterwood because bad things happen there. And guess where you're going to go in the adventure? You're going to go into Winterwood. So that's everything in a nutshell. The system itself, as you go deeper into Winterwood and you explore whatever scenario you're going through, the characters are going to accumulate what are called cold tokens. The game itself is written that you use coins for them. I gave everyone here the option. I told them you can have up to 6 coins, or you can have just a D6 and another D6 of a different color. Because as you accumulate these cold tokens, if you want to do something, you roll a D6. If you roll over the number of accumulated cold tokens, you succeed. If you roll under the number of accumulated cold tokens you have, you don't succeed. Easy. So obviously, as you get deeper and deeper into this game and into whatever it is you're investigating, your chances of success are less and less. And if you reach 6 cold tokens, you're gone. You are out of the story, your character, some way, shape, or form. Doesn't necessarily have to be death. So that's really it. That's the system. It's a pretty good system for one-shots. I will say, too, that the book itself, the PDF, is 46 pages, and it has within it like 5 or 6 good scenarios, and they are good scenarios, like good. And I really like the structure of them because they're pretty easy to pick up, and this sort of thing, like pick up and run, and, watch me, I'll add a couple things, but like I like something that's a very easy outline to just be like, okay, this is kind of what happens, and there you go, you're off and running. So it has my recommendation as a good game. So that's it. Any questions before we do character creation, guys?
That was a verbatim recap of what we received, except Christian, he wasn't naked this time. I don't know what happened there, but otherwise.
Well, I don't have pants on, if that counts. So
yes. Winterwood. Play it.
Winterwood.
Do it.
Yeah.
Get it.
Hold on a minute. I have to answer John. I'm writing this book down. John just
Holy shit, that is right up Christian's alley.
Troy and I had a joke. We're joking around last week because we went to my family and I went to something local, Sturbridge Village, which is like a old village that it's not like historical reenactors where they like pretend they're in like the time frame that they're like pretending to live in. They're more like a living museum. So it's like an 1830s village. And, it's really cool because you park and you walk in and like everything's, I'm like, I would love to live in this place, especially if witches were in the woods, because it was like, everything you could just walk through and it was all peaceful and there are no cars and everything. And you'll go and there's like
modern day Iowa.
Right. No, Iowa, you need cars because everything's like so far away from each other, right?
That's true.
But there's a guy who's like dressed in 1830s outfits, like as the blacksmith, and he explains how they do what they do and why they do it. But he's not pretending he's from the 1830s. He knows he's living in 2024, but he's just like, this is what they did and this is how they did it, and he'll answer questions for you. They had a woman baking bread, or they had a banker who obviously I spent a lot of time with, and they had like different people doing stuff. The banker was, they didn't have those back then. The banker was really interesting though, because what he was telling me was that so they had paper money was technically in existence, like in 1830, like dollar bills and stuff. But like the people, like the citizens were like, yeah, but the last time America issued paper money was like right after Revolution, and you couldn't back up like the value of it. So fuck you guys. We don't believe in the value. So $100 bill would only buy you like $40 worth of stuff. They wanted actual like silver dollars made of silver because you needed like a dollar worth of silver to make the silver dollar. So it had a real value, right?
Shit.
But what also happened was banks, like individual banks, would print their own paper money. So it would be like, this is a Citibank 100. And, Citibank backs it up. And that Citibank has $100 worth of silver in Citibank to back this up. And so you had all these different like paper money floating around from different banks. And also people who were just like, the Bank of Christian backs the, making like fake money. And if you were like good enough, you could pass off this fake money. And like there was like an epidemic of just like forgery of people just being like, oh yeah, this is a banknote from some bank that doesn't exist. And it was really interesting. Yeah. Financial fraud. As American as apple pie.
Since mankind.
Yeah, that's right.
This is definitely a goat, not a basket full of hay. You should buy it.
This bronze is high quality. We all know the copper. This copper is high quality. Yeah.
This copper is shit.
No, sir. Anyway, I saw this great joke online. It was a meme about Ed Nasser, like an oracle telling him his name would live forever. And he's like, why will my name live forever? I'm just this fucking shitty copper merchant. Okay. So, guys, you live in the village. The village is anywhere you want it to be in New England in colonial times. Recently, let me get to my bookmark here. It's autumn. So we'll say it's early October, and it wasn't 70 degrees like it was here today. It's actually like early October, the way temperature should be, with in a world that isn't dying. And
Yet.
Through the end of summer to now, there's been a series of like very bizarre sightings, and the village has been on edge because about a dozen people have seen or claim to have seen this massive black bird either flying over their skies or flying over their houses or just sitting in trees, like kind of looking at them at the edges of their field as they worked in the fields, things like that. And some people have said that it's stolen livestock. Some people have sworn they saw it like with human characteristics, like a person's face. Some people think the other people are drinking or perhaps, in league with the devil or things like that, because you guys are a very, very Christian village. And, some people think it's a sign that the devil has cursed the village. But everybody is very on edge. Yes, Troy.
Is it the size of a regular crow?
You don't know.
According to accounts.
It's just a large black bird. You've never seen it.
Okay, but people aren't saying it's like the size of a human. Or maybe. Maybe. Okay.
Could be a raven. Raven, like when you see a raven, ravens are fucking big, especially compared to crows, and people don't know that, right? So unless you've actually seen one, yeah.
Did I tell you that time that Logan found a dead raven in my yard and brought it over to me?
God, they're huge,
Dude,
man.
We were outside, and I was sitting on my little tree swing chair thing.
Yeah.
And I'm just hanging out, and Logan comes running over, and he's like, "Dad, look!" And he just holds up this huge fucking dead bird, and I'm like, "Oh my god, no!"
Boys,
Barbarian and a wizard.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally. Logan would be the one carrying around the dead bird.
So that's what's been going on. Very, very recently. Very recently, as in this morning, however, Sarah Cross has come running into town in a tizzy because her and her father were working on the farm. Tobias Cross and his daughter lived on a farm at the edge of town, very close to East Creek, very close to Winterwood. His wife had died, and he had not remarried. Sarah was his only daughter. They lived a little bit far out of it, not so far, but kind of on the outer edge and close to East Creek, which is right on the border with Winterwood. And she's come running into town, scratched up, sweating, hysterical, saying that this thing, they found it was perched overhead in a tree, watching them and just staring at them while they went out to harvest their crops. And it just swooped down. It kind of had this screech and just swooped down at him. And Tobias had told her to run, and he had tried to fend it off with his pitchfork. And she just ran and heard him scream, but she didn't have it in her to look back. She just ran into town. She knows that something's just very, very wrong. So that's where we begin. We will create some characters, and character creation is pretty easy. I just have to get to the thing on my PDF here. Nope, that's not it. Creating a character. So every character has three things: a name. The easiest way to describe that character. So as we talked about a little before we started, it could be a profession. It could be just a descriptive thing. Like I made the joke, Village Idiot is a very apt character. That's perfect. Everybody knows that right away what that is. It's descriptive. It could be a combination of those things. So corrupt clergyman, drunken printer, horny banker. I don't know. But any sort of combination of those things that you want to do, a description. And lastly, they need a motive to go into Winterwood. The motive right now is that Tobias is missing, so you kind of have that one. But the name and the concept is up to you guys.
How old is the gal, Sarah?
Sarah,
Or-
I would say she's probably like 13 or 14, too young to get married yet. But
Okay.
yeah.
Ken, you want me to kick it off, bud? While you
Yeah, go
think?
for it.
Okay. All right. So my character is going to be Edward Stone.
Edward Stone.
And there are two distinct things about Edward.
Okay.
The first is that he is a teacher in the community, and he's something of a village caretaker. So
Okay.
he's a very prominent figure in the village. He probably helps out in church in some sort of unofficial capacity. Maybe he's one of the I guess I don't fucking know the intricacies of Protestant religion.
So like so it goes very much depends on who they were. So like the village, like when we were last week, it was based upon like a Quaker village. So they had a meeting house and just like elders. And like the thing that was like funny to me was like there were pews, right?
Yeah.
But like everyone was like kind of shut off, like it had like a little like gate to like get into and sit down, and like the better ones were up front and had cushions and stuff, and like the worst ones were in the back.
Really?
But like
Okay.
your family had a pew. It wasn't like first come first serve, just sit where you
Right.
sit. So it's like the cooler you were, the better off you were, the more holy you were, you sat closer up front. And this is a place,
Interesting.
this is like a religion that's supposed to have like fellowship, right? But there's still like that like
I gotcha.
stratification even there. So he could be like an elder or like an elder in training, depending on his age.
Yeah.
Or like,
So
yeah.
yep. So maybe I'll be kind of an elder in training, but I also think of myself as somebody who just generally helps with kind of all things around the church and in the community. Like I split wood for the
Sure.
fire, and clean and help collect tithes or whatever people need, that kind of stuff. And the second characteristic about Edward Stone, he's a young man. He's probably 25, 26. And he is remarkably beautiful. He is like incredibly, incredibly beautiful. And that is something that I would say probably gets people gossiping and talking in the village, for better or worse.
So like a fancy boy kind of way, like he dresses well, or just like he's a good looking guy.
No, he's just a very good looking guy.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't have like a ton of money. He doesn't like dress in fine clothes. He's just, Prince Charming in a commoner's clothing, basically.
Everybody wants to ride Space Mountain in town. Okay. Yeah.
And then the third thing you said was, why would we be going to look for Sarah's dad?
So parties are forming to look for him. So
I think maybe Sarah's dad and I have a special connection.
okay.
Maybe Sarah's dad is somebody that I'm very close to who knows a secret about me that nobody else does.
His name is Tobias. Tobias. Hold on. I gotta skip ahead to that part again. Tobias Cross. I almost said Tobias Forge, but that is a real life singer.
Yes. Tobias knows a secret about me that no one else does. Also, really quick for everybody on stream. So 2d6 and then 6 coins or 6 coins is kind of what you use to play this. So I will be using my 2021 and 2023 Gen Con D6s. These guys right here. And then the coin that I will use for my last coin when I have 5 cold, because I'm sure we're going to play these characters like stolen vehicles.
I hope you do.
Is my Newton Fire Department challenge coin. So when I flip that and lose, I die. All right, Kent, take it away, bud.
So my character's name is Hester. And I just had this thought. Originally I was going to be like a hunter type dude, but then I thought it's like if you're in New England and you're just like going through the woods, you always see like these stone walls.
Mhm.
Yeah, Hester was one of those guys that built those stone walls.
Stone wall.
He was a
builder.
mason that was free. A freemason, if you will.
He was more like a stone hauler.
Okay, a free stone hauler. back before monopolies were actually a thing like they are in today's capitalistic hellscape, the free stone haulers were steep competition for the Freemasons.
So I guess that would be like a stoneworker, right?
Yeah, like stoneworker, like probably from like grabbing stone from a local quarry,
Yeah.
and
So I mean,
working
you
with
probably
the
would help
local
build
farmers.
the mill, build the walls, build the
Yeah,
a church might be made out of wood probably, but like all the stone buildings that are made in town, you'd probably have helped build them. So
yeah.
yeah, all right, cool.
And my
I
last name is
definitely
Stone. Perfect.
I definitely think like the because it like the three of us would know, like going into the woods,
Oh
you've
yeah.
always seen those like those low stone
Yeah,
walls that are
absolutely.
just
And they're
like,
fucking huge. They go on for like
yeah, they
miles.
go on
You're
for
like, what the
miles.
fuck is this? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's legitimately just like those were land borders
Mhm.
from like different farmers who were just like, yeah,
Mhm.
this land is mine, and they found all these fucking rocks somehow,
Plowing
and
the
then
So
fields.
when
just
they're
That's how they did. Yeah.
yeah, plowing the fields,
Yeah.
and they would just like
fuck
make
these
walls.
rocks. Yes, that's true. Okay. Stone hauler. And
I
your
like
name
it.
was Hester?
Hester, yep.
Hester.
Um, I think the uh for Hester, the good a good thing is like he was working with Tobias last to help put set up his land's borders,
Okay.
and he hasn't gotten paid yet. So it's like he needs to make
It
sure he's
owes me
alive.
money.
He owes me $5.
What's your physical description of
Oh,
Hester?
so Hester is he's fit enough to have carry
Grueling manual
stone,
labor.
but like he doesn't look it to a degree. Like
Okay.
his general clothing is worn and dirty with his work.
Yep.
Um, and he has, if you ever shake his hand, he's got big calluses from carrying stone,
Mhm.
placing stone, just working with his hands. Uh,
Older guy, younger guy.
uh, older guy, probably uh early to mid 30s, I'd say.
Older. Jesus.
Yeah,
I guess,
right.
I
I
guess
know.
back then. Yeah.
That's
I
true. After 40, it's all downhill.
I very much recently was talking to one of my younger coworkers and had used the phrase "when I was your age," and I was just like, "This hurts me more than I thought."
Yeah, it's painful, man.
Yep.
It's painful.
Because like he was saying how it's like when he like as he is like he doesn't sweat very much, so he doesn't
Son of
have
a
like
bitch.
he doesn't have need for like antiperspirant, and I'm just like that's gonna change. That's gonna change because
I'm
that's how I was, like, unless it was severe
right.
physical activity, no sweat. But no, it's just like sitting down on a warm day, damp.
Yep. I'm over here fucking packing Cubrexo wipes like they're Copenhagen. Just like, please stop sweating.
You got all the corn sweats though.
Yeah, the corn sweats. Yep.
So Troy was talking about like this was a topic that came up where he's like, you used all the wipes and stuff to not sweat because you're like, I'm sick of my ass sweating. And then you sent this picture that was like your back of your shirt just like soaked with sweat. And you're like, nothing, it didn't work. And Kent, I died because Kent just replies, yeah, but your ass is.
Yeah, but your ass is dry. Oh shit. Yeah.
Be-
Good times.
very much so, because like the joke before that was Troy was going to use the wipes on his ass, and
No,
it just
I did use
yeah.
the wipes. It says like use
So they
one
worked.
wipe under each armpit.
Yep.
Like, and Amber's like, yo, be real careful. This shit's super powerful. And I just took this wipe and just wiped my whole ass. Just
And it worked. Just everything
Yeah,
else
on my
sweating.
ass. It worked
Yeah,
on
working
my
your
ass.
ass. Your back was sweaty as shit, but your ass was dry.
Fuck. As we descend into madness before the campaign. Oh fuck.
I'm commiserating about being old with Doc Void and John. All right, so we'll start right in the center, like the town's center of town, right? So you've got like a couple of family farms, the church, the local tavern, the smithy, kind of all around like a centralized like square, for lack of a better term. That's common. You guys will come and meet each other and talk about things. There are some chickens running around, maybe a little girl like walking some geese. You know, animals are abound, some sheep. And you guys, what would you guys be doing in the town square, you think? We'll say it's an autumn morning. It's past 11.
I think Edward is probably maybe perched up sitting against a tree, and he's reading. He's just reading the Bible.
Any particular passage? I'm just gonna put you on the spot.
No,
Yeah.
can't think of. Actually, you know what? Yes, Revelations for sure.
Wow.
Anything Revelations.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes perfect
Yeah.
sense. Sinners in the hands of an angry God, which is the classic. He was a New England preacher. I cannot remember his name.
Oh, fucking the brimstone, fire and brimstone guy.
Yeah, Sinners in the Hand of an Angry God. I think might have been. It wasn't Nathaniel Hawthorne, but it was maybe the guy who was like the Witchfinder who wrote. I don't know. Well, you know what? I have to look it up now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, dude, that's gonna bug me too.
Yeah. Jonathan Edwards.
Jonathan Edwards.
Jonathan Edwards. Sinners in the Hand of an Angry God. Yeah. He was a hellfire and brimstone sort of dude. So, all right, cool. All right, so you're reading Revelations. What about you, Mr. Hester?
Hester is what, 11? He's probably in town square. Like he was probably going to meet someone, meet a client to talk or get to work on some masonry.
You were going to work with Widow Hawthorne was having a problem with her fence where it was starting to like kind of sag or collapse a little bit, her wall, and you were going to see about helping her. You're supposed to meet her. So I'm going to say that, you know what, Edward, we're going to start with you. You're the first one to see Sarah. So you're sitting there, you're leaning up against an old oak tree, and you're reading Revelations. And
yeah, a particularly disturbing passage, right?
Like, what we're going to say? Yeah, we'll go with it. It's the chapter. You know what chapter it is? God, why? I do not know why I always wind up somehow like quoting or talking about the Bible when we do this, and it's disturbing how much of it
was written.
I'm responsible for some of it, especially the Revelations part. You're reading the description of the Whore of Babylon and how she rode on like the beast with all these heads and like,
yes,
all that stuff, right?
Yes,
the Scarlet Woman, right? And you hear screaming and like sobbing, and you look up from your book and you see Sarah Cross just like running like in a state, just like running into the town square, like screaming for help.
I say I quickly stow away my book, and just tuck it into my shirt pocket. And then I just get up and start running over to Sarah. And
she manages to make it to you and just like collapses like in your arms, which is
I grab
scandalous.
Her,
but she's like, oh, Mr. Stone, oh, please help me. Oh, my father, Mr. Stone, he was taken, Mr. Stone, by the crow.
It's okay, Sarah. It's okay. Calm down. Please come sit with me. And I kind of walk her
It's
over
just-
to the
It was,
tree.
it was inhuman, Mr. Stone. It was inhuman, Mr. Stone. It wasn't. It was a devil. It was a devil sent by hell. It was my father. Oh God.
I kind of
People kind of start to gather. Hester, you like were hanging out and you saw this
Yeah.
like happen. Everybody saw it happen.
Yeah.
I take out like a handkerchief or a cloth or something that I've
Sure.
got, and I just kind of start like wiping, like dabbing it on her forehead and around her neck and stuff like that. And I've just got like a hand on her shoulder, and I'm just trying to say like, it's okay. It's gonna be okay. We'll figure out what's going on. You said your father was taken.
I really didn't, but it was in a field. It was perched in the dead pine tree just on the other side of East Creek, watching us, and we went out to harvest the pumpkins, and it swooped down at us, and her father told me to run, and I did, but I could hear his screams, but I didn't look back. I just ran and I ran and I ran, and I heard his screams carried him away. It just starts whipping. At this point, Jonathan Edwards, because why not? Who's the local, like the main Hellfire preacher, comes over and he's just like, what, Stone? What is the meaning of this? What's happened?
I don't know. I'm sorry. Is there someone that can maybe watch over Sarah? Perhaps we should send some folks to her house and check to make sure Tobias is, or investigate what's going on. He's trying to stumble to gather his words as he's like looking at Sarah, trying to process the information, thinking about the things he just read in his book.
Yeah, some local people. I'm gonna say,
Maybe if there's I don't know.
Abigail.
Any women? If there's any woman available.
we're gonna say that the Jones. You're right in front of like the Jones house. They live right in town, and Abigail Jones comes right out, and she's just like, "Nice, I just read The Secret." Okay.
Oh wait, Christian, let me interrupt. Can I change this real quick? Can it be the pastor's wife?
Abigail Edwards, the pastor's wife, who is in her 40s.
Sure.
Comes out, and she's just like, "Oh, Sarah, poor dear, what has gone on?" And kind of like, what happened to her? Edward, what's wrong? What happened?
She said that something has happened to Tobias. She said he was taken. We're gonna gather some folks together, and we're gonna go investigate and see what's going on. Take care of her, Abigail. And I kind of like put my hand on her hand as I like hand off Sarah to her.
And she kind of like eye contact, and then she looks to Jonathan, and then quick, "Come on, dear, we'll get you cleaned up. Don't you worry, the men will handle it." You look around, and of course Jonathan Edwards, the pastor's there, but you see Amos, Nathaniel, Thaddeus, and Jethro, because those are all the 1600s names I can come up with off the top of my head.
A modern day Bob, John, Sam, and Tim.
Pretty much, right? They're all like, just like, what's happening? What do we need to do?
Well, I think
I just lose everyone.
Property. Are you familiar with this area that Sarah described? The edge near the creek?
Yeah, but that seems like it's the old dead tree in the Winterwood, wouldn't it be?
It would. They're kind of look at each other nervously and make the sign of the cross.
I kind of look to them and I say, "Men, steel your nerves here. If Tobias has gone missing, we need to take action."
That we do. Right. I shall fetch my fowling piece.
pull out my Glock 19. Remington
It's like,
shotgun.
I'm here to read Revelations and kick ass, and I just finished Revelations.
Take my fucking holy water, Remington.
Right. So the meaning, the guys can be like the men will be like, oh, we can be back here or we can meet there in 20 minutes.
Yes, let's leave together from town, or I guess perhaps myself and Hester can head that way now while you prep your things.
Yeah, I don't got if anyone sees what was her name? Widow
Hawthorne.
Hawthorne. Uh just let her know that I'm helping along with the situation. I'll be back with her later in the evening.
Very well. Shall we, Hester?
So the men
lead the way?
kind of disperse to get their weapons and whatnot. If you want to grab some weapons, I mean, obviously you would have every man has some sort of rifle or shotgun or something. So you can get that if you wish.
Yeah. Hester
Probably
would
not
have
shotgun.
something because he's
Muskets.
muskets.
I guess I'll grab my musket. I'm not going to say no. You said every guy's got a gun.
Man, you gotta go hunting and stuff, right? I mean,
Yeah, back in the day, everyone brought a gun to church.
Hmm.
I mean, is it any different now?
Depending on where you are, I guess.
Depends on the church, yes. Everyone's either strapped or there's not a gun in sight.
Right. It depends on the state.
I would think Hester, because he's like, sometimes he's just like out in the away from town, like just like throwing down wall or whatever. He might have a blunderbuss. Yep, Doc Void.
Hell yeah.
Just sit full of fucking pebbles.
Literally, he's just like handful of sand. Boom.
Bam. I love it. I'll say I've got a rifle.
Sure.
Or musket.
Yeah.
I think now if Troy had a blunderbuss, he would just throw it full of guns. Just a blunderbuss
load it
of
with
guns.
other loaded guns.
Nice.
Buckshot Glock. Bam.
It explodes. And then the other rounds explode. It's like,
It's exploding
the bald
guns.
eagle descends from the sky carrying an American flag. Good call.
so you within 10 minutes or so, you guys are able to get your weapons, and you guys can meet up and go down to the place together if you wish.
All right.
Yeah. This is not the first we've heard of this creature. Do you think there's any credibility to the stories and what's going on?
I'm not sure. I've definitely heard of it being talked about in town, and I haven't quite seen it myself, but I've try to keep away from the Winterwood myself. But
Are you a man of superstition, Hester?
I'd say so. Superstition. I guess for me, like as a player, like superstition is in form of context of like the time, and I am
Right.
not anywhere close to a historian, so
Right. There is something to be said for a healthy degree of caution, but to go around believing fables and tales can be a dangerous matter in and of itself. I'm sure there's a logical explanation for what's happening here. Hopefully we'll find some clues once we get to the home.
probably just another bird that's come into the area and has been taking others' prey.
What does Tobias do for work?
The farmer.
He's a farmer.
Mhm.
I wonder, Sarah felt warm, but I mean, if she ran from home, that would explain that. Perhaps she's coming down with some hysteria and all of this can be explained. Maybe Tobias is in the field.
Dude.
Yeah. Yep, I went there.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. Dude, I'm being
You know,
1600s.
we have no women here to like the sensible people are not here. We can just go apeshit. All right.
We can just go apeshit. Yeah.
She must be
Perhaps they will
hysterical.
give
She's a
her
woman.
some of the poppy milk. Yeah. Yeah. Hester, no, regardless of what's happening, let's get to the bottom of this right away.
Yeah, hopefully it was just maybe it was just an owl that decided to set up its nest close to their farm.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Swallow.
we'll find Tobias there and relatively unharmed if he was attacked by such creature.
Let us check the home first to see if perhaps he's come back from the field or something.
Yeah.
So you guys, you arrive and you see that Amos and Nathaniel are already there, and you walk like a dirt road to get here. You walk past like the kiln, the community kiln, and a couple other farms, and so Tobias has a pretty small wooden farm with an outlying barn. The barn is actually sort of like semi-attached to the house. So like there's a house and then the barn's kind of on the back and it's attached. So like they can like have easy access to their animals and stuff in the wintertime and keep them warm. There's a fireplace that kind of like heats both. He's got a field. The field is out back directly abutting East Creek and on the other side, the Winterwood. He has some decent stone walls, and some of you see like the beginning of your work, and you see your work, Hester, and you're like, oh yeah, he hasn't paid me for that yet.
Son of a bitch.
But you arrive, the front door, the wooden door, is like open and kind of like creaking in an autumn wind. As you arrive, you're kind of like you see Amos and Nathaniel kind of standing outside, both like kind of like holding their like leaning on their guns, and like a gust of wind blows some of the last leaves like kind of like fade out of the trees in front of you, and that door just kind of like opens a little bit into the farmhouse.
Gentlemen, did you just arrive? Did you have a chance to check the property or the home?
We waited for you, Mr. Stone.
Very well. I recommend we check the stone. Nathaniel and who was the other one you said? Nathaniel and who?
Nathaniel and Amos. Amos is like, reckon we should wait for
Famous Amos.
Jethro, or we like more people are better.
Maybe we'll wait for Jethro before we walk the perimeter, but I suggest perhaps Nathaniel, you and I go around back towards the barn, and Hester and Amos, perhaps you check the main home.
They kind of look at each other and they're like, oh, all right.
Split the party, baby. Let's go.
Our rifles. So it is Edward and Nathaniel going into the back.
No, yep. Edward and Nathaniel going around to the barn, and then
Hester and Amos into the house. Okay, so we'll do the house first. So Hester and Amos, you go into the house. You kind of step up and kind of like that door's like creaking on its hinges, and you just kind of like touch it and push it open. It pushes open very easily, and you go right into the kitchen with that big, hearth. Stone hearth. Awesome. Yeah, with like I love that thing that like they have like the iron arm thing where you can like swing the pot into it and everything, and like the little alcoves put in for like their like utensils and stuff. The gun is over the fireplace like as it belongs. Naturally.
He has a daughter. Naturally.
To sidestep there's a farm village that still does like old style cooking stuff like that. I see it occasionally on like social media, but they do like the big things of chili, and it's just like a whole like not like a Sturbridge Village type of thing, but like it's just like a farmhouse. They do the cooking, they do that like you can go around the property and then like everyone eats together.
That's legit.
Oh yeah, family style. Awesome. That's pretty cool.
A commune, yeah, it's literally like a commune. That's awesome.
But
that is pretty cool.
Hester's going to as he steps into the house, he's going to call out, Tobias, are you here? Are you unwell?
No answer. You see that the morning's breakfast dishes are still kind of on the table. Not unusual. I mean, you would
Mhm.
typically eat breakfast if you have to get out early to the field. You would
Yep.
just eat and come back and clean that later. You see, the fire has burnt down. Again, not horribly unusual. It's embers.
Yeah.
And there's some things laying around like needlepoint, like she's like Sarah must have been working on something, like and at night times it's kind of like in front of the fireplace with the rocking chair, just stuff like that. A couple books, not many, just two, literally a couple books.
One of them's the Bible.
One of them is exactly the Bible.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And the other one is, the other one is like a
The
kid's
Book
book
of
of
Mormon.
no, the Book of Mormon wouldn't have been around it. It is a kid's book of like rhymes and like a school book, basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
Naturally Christian.
I can't say I wouldn't say I know exactly where we are in New England, but I know we're not in Rhode Island.
How do you know that?
The Puritans kept out of Rhode Island.
Yeah, they
Did
did.
they really?
Yeah, they did. That's the whole reason for the founding of Rhode Island, was people wanting to get the fuck away from the Puritans. Yeah.
Look at us heathens, huh?
Yeah, we were heathens. Yep.
The OG DMs after dark.
Mm.
Nice.
But yeah, Hester will and Amos, I guess, like we'll probably just like split up. It's small farmhouse, like maybe
Yeah, it's
two,
literally like
three, probably
yeah.
at most.
You've got this room that you walk into, a back room that is like
Probably for bathing.
yeah, basically bathing and storage. That's also the room that kind of abuts the barn, and
Yep.
part of the barn is like kind of like a little bit of there's like a digging into the ground, like a cold cellar stuff for the wintertime. Then there's an upstairs that's like literally two bedrooms. No, you know what? Not even. It's like a bedroom, and it was
Yeah.
just like his bed and like a trundle bed that she like came out from under and like like pulled out, and like she slept on that one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nobody home. I mean, if you want to search, you can roll, because why the hell not?
Yeah.
You'll automatically succeed because you haven't had any cold points yet, but roll
Yeah.
anyway. And because it's
3.
fun. Yeah, you succeed. And
You succeed.
you find spare clothing. You see that Tobias is like, Sunday best clothes are like,
Yep.
he's like, pilgrim hat and stuff are kind of like
That you immediately take off in church.
yeah, but you have to wear it there.
You gotta wear it there. Like you can't be not in your Sunday best.
Tradition.
Yeah, you see his Sunday best is kind of like laid out and have been. Maybe she was like mending some small stitches and like some small problems with it. It's kind of laid out on the bed. Same thing with her dress. So she might have been getting ready for like Sunday, even though it's not. That Sunday would be in a couple days. That's really, there's nothing there is unusual to you.
Okay. Well, no sign of Tobias, so we'll
None whatsoever.
head out. Nothing unusual inside.
When you head out, kind of the front door, you see that Thaddeus and Jethro have arrived. I'm like, right, Hester, hello. This is Thaddeus. Have you found Tobias?
No signs of him just yet. Edward and Nathaniel had gone around back. Myself and Amos had just checked inside, and there was no sign. We were just waiting for you two to show up to start pacing the yard.
They look at each other nervously and like, all right. And they kind of get their guns are ready. Edward, you and Amos go around back.
Okay.
You're greeted by a sheep right away. Actually, no, a goat. A goat.
Goat.
a black goat that just kind of stands there because I have to. Amber, I'm doing this for you. A black goat just stands there and is staring at you.
I imagine Edward just gets a very, very quick just glimpse in his mind of this beast with many heads that he was reading about in the book of Revelations just moments before. And he just looks and he says, "Oh, hi, goat." And kind of walks around it, gives it like a little bit of a wide berth.
Stares at you and then goes back to eating what it was eating.
Tobias, are you here?
You hear the clucking of chickens, the baaing of sheep, and the wind through the branches.
Look around, see if anything looks out of order. I say to Nathaniel.
Are you in the barn kind of area still?
Yeah. Yep, we're in the barn.
If you want to give me a roll, you can, because why the hell not? Yeah.
I'd also like to, if they didn't check the dry cellar, if that's right off of the barn, I'd probably go down there and check that.
Sure. You find potatoes. Yeah, you succeed because you can't fail. Potatoes, corn. Yeah, there's corn. The corn, some like barrels of cider. Running low because they haven't done their apples yet for this year to get them through winter with next year's cider. But run some almost tapped out barrels of cider.
What time of year is it, Christian?
We're gonna say like roughly early October. Like
okay,
it's most of the harvest is done. You're getting to the final things of it. So again, like they haven't ground up their apples to make their cider for.
But they've already picked them from the trees.
Yes, exactly. So
okay.
you do find in the barn like piles of apples and shit like that too that they've like getting ready to. Interestingly, the town would have one like mill where you cidered your apples, and everyone would just have a different day to use it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Edward is going to grab an apple and start eating it.
It's like fermented and tastes like shit because it's been laying on the ground.
Then
and
never mind. Edward will leave the apple alone.
Okay. I mean, you can risk it for the biscuit and take one off like the top of the pile, but
nah. Nah.
Okay.
I guess if we don't see anything out of place in either of the rooms, we'll head back out and rendezvous with the rest of the crew.
Just as you do, you take a good look around, basically. You can tell from looking around with your roll that couldn't have failed either way, that someone got up and fed these animals and stuff this morning. So they're reasonably cared for. Nothing seems out of order, like, or astray with your knowledge of barns and sheep and goats.
Okay. Sounds good. I will leave the barn with Nathaniel and head over to the rest of the group. And
just as you get out, like you all guys coalesce as a group, and you can go back into the fields if that's where you want to go.
House is empty. Did you see anything in there?
No, nothing.
It appears the animals were fed this morning.
It seems like everyone their normal morning chores were done and done away with, but the no one's returned to the house. Now that we're all here, probably best to. I think Sarah had said that he was attacked closer towards the creek.
Yeah, by the deadwood.
So probably go and check over there first.
Yeah, let's do that.
You go ahead.
I was just going to say, Edward, as they start walking that way, Edward kind of closes his eyes and he just takes a deep breath in through his nose and he's just trying to smell the air. Like, I feel like maybe Edward has like a keen sense of smell.
To smell.
Okay.
Because I just wanted to say that. So just roll to smell.
Listen. I've also been watching Hannibal recently, so like I feel like a keen sense of smell is such a
great character detail, isn't it? Too.
Yeah, it is, dude. Like he's like, I knew he had fucking pancreatic cancer because I could smell it on him, and I was like, whoa, that's fucking cool.
He kills that role in that show, by the way.
Dude,
like, absolutely
Mads Mikkelsen is a fucking gangster.
Yeah.
He is so good. He is so good. Also, that's not beyond the realm of possibility either, because there's dogs that can smell when people will have seizures and
Yeah.
fucking diabetes and shit like that. Like there's literally dogs that can smell those things. So
I only
it's
learned
not
this-
impossible that
No,
people
I
could.
only learned this recently, like literally this week, that I never knew this. Like, apparently, there are people who can like smell ants,
Mhm.
and
Yep.
it's a genetic thing. You either can or cannot do it, and I cannot do
Smell
it.
ants?
They can smell
yep.
ants. They like,
Ants have
oh,
a smell to them.
Yeah, to
No
those
shit.
people.
I do
Yeah.
know that they do trails and shit, and they literally press their bodies into the ground to imprint their scent, so other ants
Yeah, for
can
other
follow
ants.
the
Yeah,
trail.
no, I mean like
Yeah.
people who can be like, oh, I smell
Wow.
ants, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what are you
Holy
talking about?
fuck, dude.
Yeah, and isn't
So-
that amazing? Like, yeah, go ahead.
There is actually a woman she has a 100% success rate of smelling Parkinson's on people,
Wow.
Really? Holy
even
fuck.
bue they were ever diagnosed.
Diagnosed?
There
Wow,
was
dude.
one study where she smelled someone and she was like and ended up being a false positive at the time, and then like 3 months later he developed Parkinson's.
Wow, holy fuck, dude.
I can smell when people like not like specific diseases, but if someone's sick, they smell different. Like I know that. Like
Interesting.
hospitals drive me crazy because I can't stand the smell in there because there's so many people that are just like very, very sick.
My
And,
nose
yeah,
has just been killed with
yeah, well,
UTIs and C. diff. It's just
yeah, you're just you're nose blind to it. But
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe
no, I cannot
I'm
smell
gonna
it, John.
say Edward has
Uh,
a sense of smell. He's got a good
Yeah.
sense of smell. He just smells the air.
There's also like some people hate cilantro because it tastes like soap to them.
Yep.
Yes, I have
Fortunately,
heard that.
fortunately, I am not one of those people because I love
Same.
cilantro.
I fucking love cilantro.
Yeah, I would die if cilantro tasted like soap to me. All right, so you smell the air. You roll the 4, you said?
Mhm.
You get that particular autumn scent that mixes both the sweetness of nature, but like with that hint of death that's just coming around the corner.
Mm.
And particularly like you smell the animals, you smell the apples that are like just starting to like go
Sure.
before and you smell that waft, that little hint of death in the air that comes with autumn, that smell of the field that's been harvested, right?
Right.
And that's what comes to your nose.
I just kind of say quietly under my breath, I smell a fine harvest. And then continue trudging into the woods. I'm going to refill my beverage. And
Sure.
Twitch chat, we're going to need some beverage, some drink
We'll wait for
stuff
you, man.
going on.
Yeah. Some drink stuff going on. So, John, you mentioned John was talking in chat about like the thing that a lot of people never think of. You talk about like in America, we're just told like, oh, the pilgrims they fled religious persecution in Europe to come over here. But the reality is, like you said, they had won the English Civil War, killed the king, and been just like dickheads basically for like 10 years. And then lost again and came back over here. They were fleeing basically their own stupidity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cilantro is hold on, I'll pop a link in here, John, of what it is. Yeah. It's hard to explain, but it's like a
It is coriander, yes.
oh, it is? I did not know that.
Yes.
I did not know that. Oh yeah, it's a Spanish word for coriander. Okay.
Yeah.
I learned something new.
In the United States, the leaves are called cilantro, the seeds are called coriander.
Interesting.
We're just gonna have that like the more you know pop up.
We endeavor to educate and entertain.
Yes. And imbibe.
Yes.
As I'm sitting here with a full handle of vodka.
That looks like a Deep Rock Galactic mug. I was playing Deep Rock Galactic like all day with my son
Yeah, I
because
saw.
they had Rocktoberfest, but
Oh, nice.
it ends this week, and we needed to get leader. You had to do like a certain amount of missions to get like the downloadables. So we have these like
Yep.
sausage hats. It's like a tuba with like sausages hanging out, and we got lederhosen.
Nice.
Yeah, but it took us all day.
Speaking of Oktoberfests and whatnot, I heard my one of my old high school, like really close friends, he's working for a brewery now, and he is officially putting out his second beer with that brewery, and is like he's like on the like his last name's part of the brew. It's really cool. I gotta when it comes out, I gotta go and pick some up.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Dude, there's a huge difference between like commercial alcohol and stuff. Like, I don't know. I mean, obviously he's working at a brewery, but like the stuff people make at home. Like, have you ever had like homemade wine or anything
No.
like that? Oh,
Is it good?
yeah, but it's like 12 times stronger than like,
Yeah.
you think like, oh, wine, I'm gonna have a glass of wine. And, yeah, I had these people that I worked with who would make their own wine. They were French, so like they kind of knew what they were doing. And,
It was in their blood.
it was literally like they were born with it, but they made their own wine. And I knew them for over a number of years. So the good thing is like the wine got like better over time. But at first you were like, holy shit, this is like fucking, it tastes like paint varnish. But then over time it was like, it actually
Yep.
developed like a flavor, but it was
Yep.
always like really strong. Yeah, like really strong. Yeah. And I remember once they gave me a couple bottles, and like I don't really drink that much, so I was like, I don't drink at all anymore. But back then I didn't drink that much anyway, so I was like, I don't need like a couple bottles of wine. So like I gave some away to friends, and I was like, oh yeah, this is like homemade wine, and every single person called me. I was like, what the hell, dude? Like that was like strong as hell, and I'm like, I know it's homemade. Like
Yep.
it's not that it's not that 8% alcohol like the stuff you get in the store or whatever it is.
Yep.
But anyway, yes. So you smell a good harvest, Edward,
Okay.
and you walk out the back of the barn into the field. So behind the house is like the fields, and
We already went over this when you were gone.
yeah,
Troy.
it is actually coriander.
It's
Yeah.
yes.
Oh
It's
shit!
just- yeah,
Coriander
it's-
is dried cilantro.
No,
Yes, it
it's
is.
this,
Go ahead.
in
Yeah.
the United States, it's the seeds of the plant. The leafy we call the leafy stuff cilantro.
So because cilantro is the
Yeah.
Spanish word for it, so we just use the Spanish
No
word for the leafy
shit.
part of the plant. Yeah.
Holy fuck!
I did
Well,
not
sorry
know
for
that.
my
I always
ignorance,
thought,
boys.
I always thought they were two
Wow.
different things too. Yeah.
Holy fuck, dude. Well, I learned something. There you go.
Yeah, we went over that too. Or
So
like
the
it's the more
seeds
you
of
know. thing.
cilantro are coriander.
Yep.
And cilantro is the Spanish word for the leaves.
Or coriander. Yeah.
Or coriander.
Coriander. Wow,
Yeah.
dude, that's fucking nuts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Damn, son, I'll drink to that.
For cilantro. So you walk out the back of the barn into the field, and the field is surrounded by mostly the stone fences that you made, Hester. And it's been harvested. So it's just that like fall field, a fallow field. And it abuts the East Creek. And on the other side, in the distance, you can see the woods. It's a big enough farm field. I'm going to say it's probably, will be very American. It's about a football field away to get to where the creek is. That's 100 yards to y'all Europeans. I don't know how many meters that
Which
is. About
yards is not European.
it's about it depends on where in Europe, because Britain still uses some of that. I don't know. Anyway,
do
it's
they?
yards. That's roughly equivalent to 100 meters. I know
330 feet.
100 meters is a little longer than 100 yards, but whatever.
I think a
It's-
meter and a yard are just about the same.
They're pretty close.
Very
They're
close.
very close. I think a meter's a little longer. I think, but
Somewhere
yeah.
around 3
Yeah.
foot American,
yeah, 3 feet.
Which is roughly half a bald eagle.
How many donkeys is that?
Measure it in anything but fucking metric.
Anything but the metric system.
It's approximately 50 bald eagles away. Yes.
Oh God, it's 300
so
homeless
dumb.
people away. It's, so,
Fuck.
yeah, but it's it's a big enough field. It's not gigantic, but it's big enough. So you're far from the creek where you are. But looking out over the place, you can see about probably 2/3 of the way towards the creek. You see something laying in a couple things laying on the ground.
I tighten my grip on my musket and
They are not like you see items, not like people things. It's from where you're at. It looks like a hat and a pitchfork and a basket.
how long ago was the most recent war that we would have been involved in here?
I'm going to say we're gonna dial a little bit further in, and we're going to say that this is roughly the early 1700s. So the most recent war would have been King Philip's War, which was really fought against the natives, and was
Okay.
in like the late 1600s. So we'll call it like 12 years.
Okay. I'm gonna say that the musket I have was my father's and that my father fought in the war and died in the war.
Sure.
So
Okay.
my musket has a bayonet on the end of it, which is
Sure.
perhaps uncustomary for a standard hunting rifle
Sure.
or something like
That's
that,
fine.
right?
Yep.
But yeah, I'll walk closer to inspect. I'll look at the other folks to get a gauge of what like how they are, right? Like a sense
Uh,
motive check.
the four characters are jittery as shit.
All of them?
All of them. And
Hmm.
I don't know, Hester, how are you?
He Hester is anxious. He might be borderline frightened
Really?
right
Okay,
now,
so you're also yeah.
just seeing the hat in the field and the pitchfork and his stuff. And do we see any what would be like drag marks?
Just because, even though you
Ugh,
can't fail yet. Yeah.
3.
Okay. I'm using it in my mind to like say like how much information to give you, right? So yeah, you see like you spend some time out in the woods, so you know your way around some tracking. So you see as you walk out, you see two sets of footprints walking out, and then one running back as you
Mhm.
walk out. When you get to the kind of walk up to where the you find the stuff on the ground. It is a basket that had some had a couple squash and pumpkins. Like they were like small pumpkins, not like
Mhm.
big ones. Like they were picking like squash, and it was like dropped by someone who ran, the person who ran, which is the smaller set of footprints. And you see there's a pitchfork and like a straw hat just like laying on the ground. And you see the bigger set of footprints had like was some sort of scuffle, and then there's a little bit of a drag, and then nothing.
Mm.
Is there any blood or anything in the scene? On the scene? On the pitchfork, on the hat?
You don't find any blood. No.
Hmm. Where
Well,
does it
this
look like it's being dragged towards the wood?
Towards the wood. It's dragged for a little while, and then the drag mark. It starts from being like a
like a
deep
deep,
drag
heavy drag
to
to
like lighter, and
lighter.
then it's
Yep.
gone. Yeah.
Well, this is concerning. Concerning.
From
You hear as you look up and you see perched in the dead pine tree across the river a murder of crows, because I wanted to say that too. It's a fun word to say.
Murder
A
crows.
murder of
Mm.
crows.
It
Men,
does seem like Tobias was dragged off into the wood.
You see Jethro and Thaddeus are just kind of like stepping back.
I definitely wouldn't uh put it past one of them to like fire into the murder of crows
ooh,
to scatter them.
Nathaniel does.
Nathaniel?
Yeah, unless you
I
want
thought
to.
Nate was my boy.
He's
Damn it,
like,
Nate.
just definitely. Oh. That shot just echoes up and down the creek and throughout the whole town. And the crows, like, he doesn't hit anything, but the crows just kind of flop away.
At that, I'll put my hand on the muzzle of his weapon and I'll lower it
Probably
to the
too hot.
ground.
Yeah, it's smoking hot.
Or I guess not the metal fucking tip of it.
Just like the
but-
wood underneath, just kind of pull it down.
Yeah.
You could just grab
Yeah.
his arm probably and take it down too.
Yeah, just fucking kind of lower it and say,
Yeah.
Nathaniel.
He's shaking when you touch his arm. It's like, this devil, it's the devil, I tell you, Mr. Stone, it's the devil. We should not have come
Nathaniel,
here. If it's God's judgment on Tobias, and so be it.
it is not up to us to interpret the judgment of God. And I look at him and I say, now is a time when we need to steady ourselves and we need to be patient and not do anything irrational. And I look at his weapon as he's kind of shaking. I say, Nathaniel and Tobias, those were the two I'm sorry, who was the other guy that was backing up? You said Nathaniel and who else?
Thaddeus and Jethro were just kind of like dinner plate
Thaddeus.
eyes, just kind of like backing up. Yeah.
Okay, before I pivot, I look at Nathaniel and I get him to look at me and I say, can I trust you, Nathaniel?
Always, Mr. Stone.
Can you steady your nerves? And will you go and look for Tobias with us?
I will.
I really take a moment to study him, and I'm looking to discern if he's being truthful or as best as he can.
But his commitment to his people are outweighing his fear for now.
I look at the other two, and they're beyond saving. So I look at those two and I say, gentlemen, it's imperative that you go back to town and that you let the rest of the folks know that as best as we can tell, Tobias was dragged into the woods by something we don't know what. Okay? Make sure Sarah is safe and let them know that the four of us are going and we're searching for him. We will be back by sundown.
Mr. Stone, right. You can count on us.
Yeah, fucking right. I look at the other two. I look at Kent and Amos. Or, sorry, fucking not Kent. I look at Hester and Amos. And I say, gentlemen, shall we?
They just book it. The other two, by the way. Yeah.
Might want to reload that musket, Nathan.
He's already pouring his powder, ramrodding it.
As we start maybe walking that way, I do try to break away with Hester a little bit. Either ahead or behind the group, whichever is more natural, right? And I kind of speak low to Hester and I say, I understand that you're afraid. I'm afraid too. But right now, these men are looking to us for leadership, and Tobias's life could very well depend on us keeping it together. I need you to keep it together, Hester. You're a strong man.
At this point.
Hello?
Yep, we can hear you, Christian.
Yeah, I'm sorry. All of a sudden, my screen just went black. I could hear you guys, but I couldn't see it. Now you're back. Now it's weird.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
At this point, Mr. Stone, I'm not sure if it would be a person we'd be finding anyway. I more think that anything that could drag away a adult man would be, especially as long as it took us to get out here. I think we're looking for a body.
That is a distinct possibility, Hester. There are large animals in the woods. Um, it's certainly a possibility, but now is not the time to plant seeds of doubt. It's harvest season. Let us try to find some hope here. Until we're proven otherwise, we have to assume that Tobias is alive. He very well may be hurt, but no matter what condition he's in, he may need our help.
Let us pray that that is correct.
Kind of look at the guys maybe behind us and say, okay, once we cut the tree line, keep your eyes and ears peeled. There's big game and, predators and stuff that are in these woods. So just be careful, stay close, and don't get separated.
God be with us. God be with us.
God is with us. And I pull my Bible out of my pocket. Always, always, he is with us. And I put it back in my pocket. Do we know, are Amos and Nathan, what do they do in the town? Are they like...
They're farmers.
They're both farmers. Okay.
Amos is a cookie baker on the side.
Yes,
yeah,
he does.
It's just a
He
little
makes-
side gig.
He,
He
makes
doesn't
some
think it's going to
mean
take
cookies
off.
on the
but-
side. Yeah,
Yeah.
he does.
He's a shit farmer, but goddamn, he could make some cookies. This is the 1700s version of like an influencer. Like, what the fuck? You can't bake cookies for a living, you idiot. You can't make TikTok videos for a living, you idiot. What are you going to do for real work? Fuck you. Here's my cookies. Oh, shit. Okay. Do we have to cross the stream to get to the...
You have to cross the
Mhm.
stream.
Is this a big deal or is it like a smaller...
So
Okay.
if you want to just slosh through right there, you could. You're just going to get wet. If you wanted to go up or down one way or another, and you guys know it well enough to know, like, okay, if we go down this way, there's some stones we can kind of like walk across and not get like soaked.
Yeah, we
It-
probably
it-
don't want to be soaked
Yeah,
this
no,
time of year going into the woods.
Yeah.
Lead the way, Hester. You're probably familiar with this area as you're literally building a fucking stone wall
Yeah.
for the people.
Sure.
Yeah, Hester would know where
So
the
you know that, like, where the part of the stream, that creek that runs behind Tobias's farm is it's pretty slow and deep. It's kind of like he's got like a pool down there. There's pretty good fishing, in the summer and the fall. But you can't. Obviously, you could cross there, but it gets, if you're really unlucky, up to waist deep if you go like through the deepest part of it. So you don't want to go there. So you head south a little bit. You only have to go about 100 feet or so, where you find kind of a rocky rapids where it's a little. The water's much shallower. You just have to step kind of from rock to rock, and a
Sure.
couple times heading over, you kind of have to steady. One or two, you slip a little bit, and you kind of have someone else steadies them, and you get over the stream,
Okay.
into Winterwood. And you kind of you all get over. The last person to cross, I'll say, is Nathaniel, and he slips right at the end. He kind of grabs you, and you grab him, Hester, and you steady him, and you pull him up, and he's like, "Oh, thank you, Hester." And then you kind of like everyone kind of like dusts himself off and everything, and you're kind of like, "Oh, we made it." And then you realize where you are, and you turn into this woods, where it's an autumn wood where the leaves are off the trees, and it's just deep and quiet. And Edward, as you turn and you look, you see a rabbit sitting there. Not as much underbrush now in the autumn, so you can see kind of the ground pretty easily. And there's a rabbit sitting there at the base of the tree, just kind of staring at you.
As I'm walking that way, this is going to be a token thing now for this game. Oh, hello, rabbit. Anytime I see an animal,
Cocks
hello,
its head. You
this
know how
animal.
like rabbits will like turn their ears. So it has one like kind of like going like this, and one at you, and the other one kind of like turns the other way, and then it like looks over all of you again, almost as if it's like there's something reminiscent in it of like someone taking it's that last look in, like when you leave someplace for the last time and you take a look in to kind of like drink it in so it's in your mind. You what comes to your mind as you see this rabbit is that like you're anthropomorphizing this animal, but like it looks like someone taking a last look at something and knows it's never going to see again, then hops away.
I kind of, in turn, I will look back towards the farmhouse, take everything in, and then best bet would be to carry on in the area that it looks like he was dragged. And if we can find a game trail, perhaps. We don't do any sort of like forestry in this area. We don't like harvest timber or anything.
No, you do not. There's all sorts of. So I'll tell you some of the legends. One is of the Roe witches, who were 3 women who moved to town and then were hung for witchcraft. And there was another tree further up that they were hung from.
They hung by Judge Wade.
And they were hung by someone.
Roe versus Wade.
Oh, no. Roe versus Wade. Nice. Yes, they were.
Again, there's no women here. So
they were hung by Elder Wade. Yes. They have there's legends. There's legends of people who have starved to death and are seen in the like their ghosts are seen in the woods. There are legends of at the time of King Philip's War, a militia that came in and the commander was like, we have to like hunt for Indians, Native Americans in Winterwood, and this whole militia went into Winterwood and never came back. So and you can still hear like the fife and drumming. Sometimes people say they hear it. So there's some bad legends of this place. So nobody really goes there willingly.
Sure. Okay.
But you have to. So you walk south 100 feet. You got to go back up north to get to where like the dead tree is and where he would have crossed if he went straight across, or something took him straight across. So you get there, and as you get there, you're not. Hester, I think it probably affects you most, but all of you guys spend time in the woods because everybody hunts and stuff like that. So very quiet. And just as you get to the dead tree and you think, man, these woods are really quiet, you hear somewhere deep, deep, deep in the woods this awful, awful screeching. Almost like the call, but it's not quite like that. But it echoes through the woods. You hear 3 of these screeches, and then just silence as it echoes through the woods.
I think I'll break the silence by yelling Tobias's name.
And everything, you guys kind of look at each other, and you yell Tobias's name, and you hear your voice echo back to you through the woods. Quiet, quiet woods. Everybody get a cold token.
She. First one's gonna be a penny.
For me, it's gonna be an American dime.
A
dime of cocaine.
No, that went right into my mouse.
A dime bag.
That's right. All right, men, we need to be out of here by sundown.
You head into the woods. And as you go in, what was a partly cloudy day becomes very, very cloudy. And a light drizzle starts to fall. And soon a mist has risen up in the ground as you make your way through through the forest. Are you following a pattern? How are you searching?
I think we're probably fanned out just a little bit, but everybody has visual contact with at least one other person. Like if we're fanned out, you can see him, he can see me, they can see me. You know what I mean?
It's the order of people.
I think we're probably pushing, so we're all roughly the same distance.
Yeah, but I mean, like
woods.
North to south.
Yeah.
It would be north to south because we'll say you're going west. But who's the north and most and the southernmost is and who's in the middle? Like
oh, fuck, I don't know. Kent, what do you think? But
Hester would be at one of the ends.
Okay. I'd say
the southernmost.
Okay. I'll say I'm the middle northern portion. So
you have
Hester,
we'll say so you have Amos, the most of you.
Someone.
So north to south we'll say it's Amos, Edward, Nathaniel, Hester.
Okay.
Okay. So you push into the woods and calling out, I guess,
Yeah,
names.
just calling for
and-
Tobias, looking
Yep.
for clothing, looking for blood, looking for
Mhm.
anything, a fight,
You
struggle,
push
the
into
area.
the woods and you walk for a good while. You're not quite sure because it's raining and you can't see the sun, so you can't keep track necessarily of the time. But you know you've been doing this a while, and you haven't heard much in the way of wildlife. The only sounds of the wind through the trees and that sound of like wood knocking against each other when it's windy,
Mhm.
and that the rain just drizzling down on all the leaves and everything, and claws of crows. You see some of them; they seem to be watching you. Whenever you get too close, they kind of scatter and fly away. But you see claws of crows, and as you push in, you hear screaming from not screaming, but you hear Amos, northernmost person. Oh, what? What? Nathaniel, what's that? Come here.
So he is the one that is closest to me, correct?
He's the farthest north, but you see him. Yeah, you see him looking up at something, and he's like,
Okay.
just like kind of like back to a tree.
Okay. I yell out, Nathaniel, Hester, to me. And I start running
Yeah,
towards
well,
Amos.
Okay.
head
You
towards.
get to him, and you see he's looking up in a tree, and high up in the tree is a nest.
Of like a fuckload of crows, or what's the
That's a
Or
nest
just
made
a
of
just
like
a nest.
just a nest, but it's a really big nest, like biggest bird's nest you've ever seen. Like a person could be in this thing.
I look up at it? Are there bird droppings around the area where we are? Are there
Find some
bones? Are
laying on
there
the ground.
bones? Okay. All typical. I look at them and I reassure them, all typical.
This is some pretty.
I'm going to
There's a sheep
kind of
skull
survey.
right at the base of the tree is a partially decomposed sheep skull, and the single eye hasn't been picked out, and it's just kind of looking at you as you're like, "Oh, this is typical," and he's like,
I mean, it still could be.
Yeah, large
It could
ass
be.
fucking eagles and shit.
We
Yeah,
could-
yeah.
"Yeah, it could be.
an eagle.
could be.
Could be an eagle's nest.
Yep."
The one way to find out is just like Hester he's gonna climb the tree to check on the nest to see if he can.
Give me a roll. You got to roll over a 1. Did you have 1 point of cold so far? You rolled a 1, didn't you?
Ken falls out of the tree and dies. Yeah.
The tree is too wet for you, and it doesn't have any low enough branches for you to like.
Oh,
You're
we
just kind
gotta
of like
hurt him a little, Christian. Come on now.
And so you're trying to kind of like do that, and so Nathaniel like overcomes his fear and he's like, "Come on, I'll help you up," and he pushes you up into a branch, and you kind of like you manage to get a hold that way. And you climb up a little bit, and you just get to the top of the nest to like look in, and you see just as you peek in, you just get a peek of another bone like in there that looks, and you're like, those kind of look like teeth marks, like someone like a human chewed on it, and then the
Mhm.
branch breaks and you fall out of the tree on Nathaniel and knock the wind out of yourself and out of him, and probably you're not hurt, but you'll feel it in the morning. Let me put it that way.
Yep. So, oh,
Yeah, and being mid-30s, you will feel it not only in the morning for the next couple of days. You'll feel
yep.
It actually will kill you roughly a month from now. I kind of rush over, help both of them up. Are you all right,
Yep.
Nathaniel? Are you all right, Nathaniel?
He's like,
Probably felt like a ton of bricks.
Shit, takes brick out of pocket.
Yeah, sorry. My ass brick hit you in the head. Oh fuck. I kind of help you up. And Hester, what did you see? Anything?
There are more bones up there, and it's like the for the that branch broke, it I did see a peculiar bone. It could have been just my mind playing tricks on me, but it kind of looked like it was a human had not gnawed on the bone.
I kind
didn't-
of sigh a little bit.
Didn't look like a bird of prey.
Hester, are you well versed in wound patterns and animals of prey and that kind of such thing?
Not particularly, but
Okay. So it
uh,
may not have been
It-
may not have been anything abnormal.
It-
Perhaps.
it may not have been, but
Okay.
looked like no beak mark that I've ever seen. It could have just been that quick glance that I saw in it, the movement of me falling out of the tree.
I kind of look at the others in our group to see how much that maybe unsettled them before deciding if I need to climb the tree.
They're really fucking unsettled.
Fuck. Okay. I look at them and I say, very well, Hester.
We should go back. We should go back and get more men.
Let's not get too hasty. I will climb the tree and either confirm or deny what it is that Hester has seen. I have read on and studied such things.
Hydrate.
Hydrate. Ken, 100% I could see a chewed up human corpse up there done by other humans, and I'm gonna come back down and say, no,
Oh yeah,
everything's
yeah.
good.
Fine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna gas
Everything's
every
fine.
living fuck out of you right now. I
There's
climbed the
nothing
tree,
out of the ordinary. That bird
I-
clearly had teeth.
just pushing a half-eaten man back into the nest.
It's fine. Body falls out of the nest. At your
no.
Takes
feet.
human skull up, tosses it over shoulder.
I'm gonna roll, climb the tree.
Climb the tree.
4.
You're over a 1?
4.
Okay. 4. You are younger and more spry than ancient Hester. So you're able
I've
to like
been
climb.
taken by arthritis.
Yeah, you're able to climb the tree easily. And you get up into the nest. It's fairly barren. It looks like nothing has been here for a while. But there is a chewed up leg bone of a sheep. And you're like, oh, it kind of does look like human teeth marks on it.
Are there any other bones up there that don't look suspicious that I could toss out of the nest?
Yeah, just to see how lucky you are.
3.
Yeah, you find a rib bone.
Okay. I will.
Still got like some like wool and stuff on it, but other than that,
Sure.
looks yeah.
I'll hold it over the edge of the nest as I'm towards the top of the tree, and I'll say, well, this looks like a rib bone that belonged to the unfortunate fellow below us, and by all accounts, it looks fairly normal. And I'll drop it out of the tree for them to inspect.
Yeah, they kind of look at it on the ground and they're like,
And I'll take one more peek at that other bone as I start making my way down the tree.
it's been chewed up.
Fuck. Damn it. Perhaps Kent has the hysteria that's taken Sarah. Milk of the poppy should help. You get some opium. You get some opium. Oh,
Wait for
everybody's
Kent to come.
afraid? Opium. Okay, perfect. Angry? Opium. Shit. Doc Boyd with the she.
Yeah,
Dude, I love how that's my fucking DMs After Dark card. Like
awesome.
it says she. Troy every game.
yeah.
So
Or I have
Hester,
a
you
dog.
you bounced for this,
No, he
but
could
I
hear. He
held
could
up.
hear.
I could hear you.
Oh,
yeah.
you heard.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right. Yeah, climb back down and say it's
I think it's getting late, Mr. Edmund. I think we should go back. I really do. I think we'll probably wait till morning to come back. I really think we've done all we can. Zamus.
Amos, I hear your concern, and we will certainly be back before nightfall. We don't want to be caught out here in the woods without light. However, in situations like this, time is of the essence. Just as we would not want to be stuck in these woods alone, I'm sure Tobias is the same, especially if he's maybe injured. We need to press forward.
Take the saddle, Amos, says Nathaniel. She ride, we can't leave her for that, Father. All right.
It's bad enough she's lost her mother. And
Yeah.
I'll dig that one in just a fucking little bit.
Yeah, you
just
see that he kind of like fucks
Yeah.
up and like, yeah.
Yeah.
All right then. Men, let's continue onward. We'll use our voices to cover a larger distance, but let's stay a little closer. Besides, if we're yelling and screaming and making a bunch of fuss, that should scare away any sort of predators.
You say that and you feel like you're being watched.
Let's go.
Roll for me, both of you roll.
Okay. 6.
Okay.
6.
Damn.
GB
Okay.
2021, baby.
So you both like you feel those eyes on you instantaneously. Your eyes meet, and then you turn and you see there's within this like this is a mixed forest of deciduous and evergreen trees,
Okay.
and you see there's a kind of like a little cluster of just evergreens right on the edge of those. Possibly it's standing. You think it's a hemlock. Standing right under that hemlock is a wolf. A gray wolf with black paws. Just kind of standing there looking at you guys.
I'll make eye contact and then I'll yell Tobias really loud and pause for a sec to see if it reacts.
Its ears prick up. And then it turns and it heads back into the forest. But as it does, it kind of looks once over its shoulder at you and then goes back into the forest.
All right, man. Let's stay close. Is the fog intensing at this point?
It's getting worse, yeah.
It's getting worse. Fuck.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And nobody
lowland,
has
like-
any torches or anything on them?
No, you just came right
It
as
was
you
like
came.
at noon.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Which is why we need to get the fuck out of here by nightfall. I'm trying to keep track of roughly how long we've been walking to know the halfway point.
You probably came in. You're probably an hour 20 into it.
Okay. And just ballpark, how long do we have total by my estimation? Sundown.
So sundown or till
If it's
you want to
around
be
now,
out of the
it's
woods by
probably
like
about
4. You have like an hour and a half
By
to 2 hours
4?
left. Yeah, I mean, sundown will be like after that, but
Okay.
the reality of the matter is, even at dusk, do you want to be in the woods?
Mhm.
You don't
Right.
have torches, right?
In reality, I
Mhm.
probably know this. I'm going to push on just a little further than I should. Assuming nobody else intervenes and tells us, hey, it's time to fucking turn around.
I love how Edward's hubris is, and is guiding this mission. It's perfect.
Yep. That's right, baby.
So
Tried
you
it like
stay-
you stole it.
You stay a little closer. You all same order, but just closer.
I'll offer to take a flank if Nathan seems unnerved.
Nope, he doesn't want to look like a wuss before the Bowies. So it was Amos, I think, that was actually
Yeah,
on the end.
Amos was
Right.
But
Amos
he
was
doesn't
the
want
one
to. He
that
doesn't.
was-
He's like, no. He feels a little chastised about what you said to him already earlier. So he's like, no, I'll take it, sir. And so you spread out again, and you begin walking, and you walk for maybe another 10 minutes or so, and this time it's you who sees it. You're dead set in the middle, Edward. So you're the one who sees it first. Another one of those big nests in another big old oak tree.
Looks like another one of these nests, guys.
Well, like,
I'd imagine there must be a den of eagles, large birds of prey, something like that in this area. It's not uncommon for them to nest this close together, even though that is very uncommon.
That's extremely uncommon. Yeah.
Yeah, but I lie. I lie.
Yeah.
I know this, and I
Okay,
lie.
You yeah, so
You're
you see the
taking
nest.
advantage of the uneducated.
Yes, you
That's
are.
right.
What do you do?
I am capitalism. It will teach you all I know of eagles, but it will cost you everything.
Edward's going to live long enough to found a mill and become one of the first industrialists. You prick. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Um. Well, let me climb up, see what I can see, and while I'm up there, I'll try to get a good view of what's in our surrounding area. Perhaps if I see a clearing or any other landmarks, we can head towards that direction. There's got to be, we have to have some sort of plan or pattern as we walk through this forest. Otherwise, we're going to be aimlessly wandering. I
Say
will
that as
go
you
ahead and
approach the
attempt.
tree. As you get closer, you're like, oh, this tree's like really wet. What's running down the side of it? Oh, that's blood.
I'll take a step back and I'll point my rifle up at the nest.
They all kind of react to that and they all point up to. As you do, you see something hanging out of the nest. Something very red and stringy.
I'll take a deep breath in.
Red vine, got it.
Dripping.
I swallow hard. I look at the rest of the men and I say, rifles up. And I say, Hester, keep an eye on the ground. And I start making my way up the tree.
You can roll to climb.
5.
Okay. You make your way up the tree. As you do, you notice that this blood is it looked wetter than it actually really is. It's just the tree is just wet from the rain. The blood is like old. But you
Okay.
get up to the top and you climb up you kind of like drag your way kind of up and peek in the nest, and you're face to face with another rotten sheep face. And narratively, I'm just going to take over here. You're kind of like, you're shocked because it's like right in your face, and you kind of you try to kind of grab something as you like jump back and you grab onto the nest. Doesn't hold your weight, and you fall back. You crash out of the tree. You land on the ground. What was in it tumbles with you, which was an eviscerated, half-eaten sheep carcass that just blasts its intestines all over the place. Amos freaks the fuck out and just runs back.
Does he fire his gun?
Damn.
Just runs.
He just runs.
Just runs. Just runs.
I would yell for him, but the wind
Nathaniel
is thoroughly knocked out.
would yell, but a lot of the sheep just lands on him. And he's just kind of like, and he just gets kind of like Hester and Nathaniel, with Nathaniel getting the worst of it, just gets splattered by dead sheep and old rotten intestines.
Ooh. Gross.
Gain another cold point. You're up to 2.
My second one's an American quarter.
Hey,
I'm going with a dime now. Damn. Okay. The wind is thoroughly knocked out of me. I kind of lay on the ground for a minute.
everybody needs a second to kind of recover. And finally, Nathaniel's like wiping intestines off of himself. And he's like, are you okay? Is it? Are you all right, Mr. Stone?
I kind of like roll over onto my side. I sit up. Yeah, I think I'll be all right. Just feel that one in the morning. Kind of look over at the rest of you guys. Gosh. I pull out a napkin or something from my pocket and I start wiping Nathaniel's face off.
Yeah, everybody's got the hanky.
Yeah. Yeah, helping him out. Are you all right?
He's scared absolute shitless, but he's holding it together because he doesn't want to be like Amos.
Yeah, I look around and I go, where's Amos?
He lost his nerve, sir.
It seems like he fled.
Fuck.
I with the thing, I lost sight of him just past that big tree over there.
I kind of get up, dust myself off. We need to get him. He can't be running through these woods by himself.
Yeah.
Amos!
Should I go after him?
We're all going after him. Come on, Nathaniel. Come on, Hester. Let's go. Amos! And I start kind of running towards the direction they pointed me in.
Back the way you came. All right. You think it's back, but you guys are good enough woodsmen to think you're right. Okay.
To think that you're right. I
To
love
think that
that.
you're right.
Just
The rain is steady drizzle, but it's foggy and cold, man. Cold out here. You guys are wearing heavy coats and hats, thankfully. But it's still like, you know how like if you've been out in the rain ever for a long period of time, even if you have something that's like waterproof on, the cold still kind of gets through to the inside, unless it's
For
like
sure.
insulated. So you're starting to feel that, like, especially on your shoulders where like most of the water is like laying on you, like that coldness, and like maybe leaking down the backs of your necks a little bit and stuff like that. It's uncomfortable. And you're calling for Amos. Someone who wants to roll. I don't care. Let's see how you
get
do.
it.
I got it. 2.
Okay.
Damn it, Kent! You failed again.
You search and call for Amos for a while, but you do not find him.
We wander aimlessly, if
You
you
wander
will.
aimlessly or aimlessly. Yeah.
I smell for cookies. Fuck, dude. I look around at the rest of you. This is not good. This is not good at all.
That is not Mr. Stone. Well, not these woods, but Amos was of good enough sense to travel the woods we normally do. We can only hope that he makes it out before night.
Kind of pause, conflicted on what to do. Obviously, there's part of me that wants to go back and try to find Amos, because we know he's alive, or was last we saw him. But the other part of me thinks we've been in the woods now for quite some time. We could press forward for perhaps another hour, turn back and get to the edge of the woods close to nightfall.
That's a correct assessment of the situation, Troy.
I will ask the others of you what you want to do. I'll pose those as the options. I'll say the way I see it is we have 2 options. We can either continue pressing onward. We've got about another hour of travel in this direction before we have to turn around if we want to make it out by nightfall. Or we can continue back trying to find Amos. Perhaps he's lost, something like that. What do you think? I look at you, Hester and Nathan.
Well, we should. Amos is competent enough that he shouldn't get hurt, even in his panicked running. The chances that we will meet him on our way back should be fairly high. We should continue on, see if we can find any more signs of Tobias, or any signs of Tobias.
Nathaniel?
To Tobias. To do all we can.
Very well. I look at the rest of you and kind of I say, make sure your gunpowder's staying dry. We will carry on for 1 more hour, and then we will turn around. If we don't find Tobias, we'll have to come back tomorrow with a larger group.
Agreed.
We can do this. I look at all of you and I say, remember, God is with us always. Turn around and continue onward. You said it was
Looking
about
something up really quick. Hold
No,
on a
you're
second.
good. You said it was about 10 minutes in between those nests, 10 minutes of travel by foot.
10, 15 minutes. Yeah.
Did I see anything else when I was up there? Did I see any of those landmarks? I mean, I know I fell as soon as I looked at the nest, but as I was getting up to it, did I see like a clearing? Did I see
you could see the smoke from the village in
Okay.
the distance.
Okay, so I have a general idea of the direction to get back.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Yeah.
But otherwise, no discernible landmarks forward. No particularly tall trees or nothing like that. Okay. How have the game trails been? Have there been a decent amount of game trails that we've come across?
You've seen some green. I'm sorry. You've seen some game trails for sure.
Okay. Okay. Amos browned his breeks. Amos remembered he left a batch of cookies in the oven. Yes, I fucking love it.
Okay. I just found the perfect thing. Okay. Yeah. So you continue deeper into the forest.
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun. All right. That
I think
mist.
a light a cigarette. Do we have cigarettes? Is that something we would have?
Pipes.
I'm gonna light a pipe with a match.
Pipes were a thing. Sure.
I'll offer if anyone wants a toke off of my tobacco pipe.
He kind of takes, he takes your ember to light his own tobacco.
Yeah.
I thank you kindly, Mr. Stone.
Absolutely. We've got to stay sharp. Nicotine.
You see his hands are shaking as he but it's also cold as shit out here, so it could just be the cold and the dampness. Right. That ground mist is now like knee deep. Especially in the hollow, and as you go down through a hollow, it's like approaching like waist deep. Looking out through the forest, like you look out, you have good visibility. Before, when there wasn't any mist, you had visibility of probably like, maybe 100, 150 feet. Now you're probably down to like realistically like 50.
Is anyone wearing anything that would burn very easily?
Not anymore.
No, that's what I'm thinking, right? Like everything's pretty saturated with water.
Everything's pretty damp. And I mean, realistically, you guys wore wool, which retains its.
I wasn't sure if anyone would have linen.
Retains its. I mean, probably your undergarments, like your shirts and the stuff you have underneath your jackets and stuff. But the good thing about wool is when it gets wet, it retains its insulative properties, so you're not like freezing. But it's still, it's not going to catch fire.
Okay. I kind of look to you guys and I'm like, if this fog gets much worse, we may have to take off our undershirts or something and try to make an improvised torch. Otherwise, we're going to be wandering blind through these woods, and that's not something I care to do.
The devil's in him, I tell you so. The devil.
It's something.
We wander far from the kingdom of the Lord, Mr. Stone.
Even in the valley of shadow and death, we don't fear evil. Right, Nathaniel?
The Lord is my shepherd, and I shall not want. He maketh me lay down beside still waters. And he kind of like says that under his breath as you continue on. Are you going to try to do your same kind of like search pattern thing, or what are you guys thinking?
I want to get it. We need to get closer here, especially with the fog getting worse. I don't know if maybe not quite single file, but like 10 feet away from each other, maybe. Okay. You know what I mean? We're pretty darn close. Right. So
yeah, I mean, realistically, like no real chance of like missing someone. Basically, is what you're going for, right?
Yeah,
within sight at all times.
Right. Yeah, okay. All of us now have sight of all of us. Yeah.
Okay.
All yelling out Tobias.
As you do,
I'll yell out. Sarah's worried. Tobias, it's time to come home. You're out here.
You walk on. It's hard to keep track of how long, but it doesn't feel very, very long. But you hear someone talking, and at first you're like, almost, it's like, is it babbling? And you recognize the voice. You recognize the voice as Tobias's voice.
I'll kind of like have everybody stop when we hear, as soon as we hear it, like hold up my hand.
Okay. Far coming from in front of you, not too far, because it's carrying over the wind and the rain, but you hear a hymn. A mighty fortress is our God, a bulwark never failing. Our helper, he amid the flood, of mortals prevailing, for still our ancient foe doth seek to work us woe. His craft and power are great, and armed with cruel hate, on earth are not his equal. Did we in our own strength confide, our striving would be losing. We're not the right man our side, the man of God's own choosing. And he's going on and on. You recognize the mighty fortress is our God as a very popular Puritan hymn.
Sounds like that sounds like Tobias.
We'll shout his
Kinda
name
like,
Yeah.
no response.
and we'll creep forward because he sounds like he's just in front of us, right?
Yeah. I think
Far
I'll
in front of you.
probably take off into a jog at this point. I'll start jogging towards him.
You all do.
Tobias.
You all do. It is Nathaniel who sees him first, and he's sitting on the other side of a tree from you. So he's got his back against the tree, but his back was to you guys. And he's just kind of like sitting against that tree, kind of like muttering to himself. Tobias runs after you. And he's like, Nathaniel runs up to him. He's like, Tobias, we found you. And he kind of like drops his rifle and just screams and like falls back and just like screams again and like just like kicking back away from him. He's the first one to get to him.
I will point my rifle in that direction at whatever Nathaniel is screaming at.
He's screaming at Tobias because he ran around in front of him to like put his arm on his shoulder and saw him and like dropped his rifle and like fell back.
I will take a good look at get closer to Tobias, and
I'm not moving. I'm right where I'm at with my rifle fixed on presumably Tobias, the area that he's in. Maybe I'll start circling the other direction.
You see him from the back. You see him from the back, leaning against the tree. It's Tobias, soaking wet, leaning against the tree. His back was to you. Yeah, he's still clothed.
Okay. I guess I'm circling, so I'm cutting the pie.
You go one way,
slicing the pie. Yep,
slicing the pie, and you're going the other way, slicing the pie the other way. Okay, both of you roll.
6
again.
Okay.
Fuck yeah,
you're
that's
fine,
what I like.
and you are not freaking out the way Nathaniel is, but Tobias's eyes are gone. There's just empty sockets and blood just like running down his cheeks. Even in the rain, it's still there. And his face is like, look, he's got this gash across his face, like huge claws have come. And same thing as like on his shoulders, you see some slashes through his shirt and stuff. And he's just like semi-delirious. And he's like, mighty fortress is our God. And he's just kind of like whispering that.
I'll go forward and I will put my hands on his shoulders and just say, Tobias, it's Hester. We're here. We've come to find you.
Darkness is taking me. Darkness is taking. I want my money, man. Darkness is taking me, Hester.
Darkness hasn't taken you, friend.
The Lord of Babylon found me. She found darkness in my own soul.
Tobias, Sarah's waiting for you back in town.
He just kind of reaches out, but he can't see.
I'm gonna stay back and make sure Nathaniel doesn't run. We can't afford another person.
John
I'm
completely
gonna physically grab him if I can.
He's literally just staring like with a 1,000-yard stare at the empty eye sockets in Tobias's face, just kind of like completely like in shock, basically.
I'm gonna put my hand kind of on the back of his neck,
yeah.
Like remind him, you're here,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yep.
And I'm gonna say, we need to move.
Edward, come to me, Edward.
I'm here. I'll start walking towards him.
Edward,
I'm here.
Take my hand, Edward. Take my hand.
I'll grab his hand.
He
Like you're
pulls you
injured,
right.
Tobias.
He's strong as shit still. He pulls you way close to you, very, very close, and he whispers, he's like, it's our sin. It's our sin, Edward. It is our sin. Our sins, Edward. My own sins. And yours, Edward. You need to get out of here, Edward.
So this is, I imagine like his face is very close to Tobias's face, so no one
He
else can see
whispers
it.
that to you. Yeah, he whispers that to you. Yeah.
But at this point, Edward is afraid. He is definitely scared. He's done a good job of like putting on the act that everything's okay. Now he is terrified. He's going to take the Bible out of his
token. Yeah.
Perfect. So now we're at 3.
Yep.
He's going to take the Bible out of his pocket and he's going to put it in Tobias's hand. And he's going to say, this is the good book, my friend. This is going to get us out of these woods. And from there, we're going to get you help. We're going to get the doctor to take a look at you. And I kind of look at him, just kind of give him a quick look over. And I'm like, it doesn't look like any of these wounds are fatal, but you're going to need to get patched up when we get you back to town. And we will get you back to town, Tobias. Trust me. Trust the Lord. And I put his other hand on the Bible.
Lord. Trust the Lord. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
I
can't remember the rest. Yeah, thank you, because I 9 years of Catholic school. You think I remember the rest? But,
my kids know it in English and Russian.
I might actually burn if I do say the rest, so I should stop right now before I go into flames on stream. Just the skeletons like.
Hester, I need you to take point. You're gonna be leading us back. Myself and Nathaniel are gonna be with Tobias.
Nathaniel's like kind of like getting himself to his feet and picking up his gun, but he's still like just like lost.
Can you do that?
Are you sure? Shouldn't I be the one to help Tobias?
I can take point if you'd like.
I think the Hester is implying that he is stronger than you.
Oh, sure. To hold Tobias.
To hold up a now blind man.
Perfect. Yep. I will take point, Hester. Good point. You help Tobias and Nathan here, and we will get our way back home. Give me just a moment. I know where we're going, but I'm going to look for the fire in the town. I'm going to be right back down. And I look at a tree and I go to climb up the tree to get my beer. This is getting progressively more dangerous. 6 again, bro. Fuck. Let's go.
You climb, you scurry right up the tree, and you get. Fortunately, the vine shows a good tree. It's high. It's a little higher than the regular tree line, so you're able to get over it. And you're looking around, and you're like, okay, there's the smoke from the village, and it's a little further than the last time, but at least you know the direction to go. And you're like judging. You're like, we should be able to just make it in time.
I'm gonna give it one of these. And hold my finger up to see if I can tell the wind direction. I'll stay up there for a good minute. That way I can use the wind.
Yep. The wind is going northeast. It's from the northeast.
Okay.
And as you're doing that, you see a figure in a tree. Another big tree, maybe 200-300 yards away.
What does this figure look like?
Big black bird. But you swear as you look at it that it has a human face. And it's looking right at you.
I'm gonna slowly start saying the Lord's Prayer, make a cross, and make my way down the tree.
Perfect.
And then I will start traveling in the direction of the village with perspective of the wind direction, being mindful of that to try to help keep me consistent.
What you're able to do for a while, you begin heading in that direction. The rain holds steady as a drizzle. It's just annoying. Hester, you find that
Hester to wrap to wrap Tobias's eyes, like wrap him with a cloth, so that way he's not number one, so he's not going to get like an infection or something. But number two, like no one wants to fucking see that.
Yeah, you guys have easily can use one of your handkerchiefs for that. Just kind of like put them around his eyes, and now you have he just has like the blood streaks coming out from underneath it. And Hester, you find that he's pretty weak. He's lost a lot of blood. He's kind of dragging a little bit. You and Nathaniel kind of have to pick him up and carry him. And the mist is now a little bit more than knee deep, especially and that visibility is a little less than it was before.
I think as we're heading back, I'll try to call out Amos's name now as we're heading back, just in case.
Sure.
And then I've got my musket is loaded and ready, and bayonets on the end of it.
Sure.
And I'm in a very elevated state right now, very heightened state.
You travel through the woods, and as you're calling out Amos's name, your foot hits something because you're in the lead, right?
Yep.
Your foot hits something.
What does it feel like when?
Very solid.
Okay.
And heavy.
Trunk, stone, something to that effect. Does it have any give when my foot hits it?
It moves.
Okay.
It's in the mist though, so it's hard to tell, but it's a very heavy thing. Feels longish.
Okay. I guess I'll using the butt of my rifle, I'll kind of hit down on it.
Clangs like metal.
That's interesting. I will bend over and try to pick it up.
It's a musket.
Get back down with no one else seeing. No,
I'm just kidding. This is musket.
Fuck, man. God damn it. I will sling it over my shoulder. I will look back at the rest of them.
Sees it.
And I will say, we need to quickly get out of here.
He must have dropped it in his hastes to get out.
The wind is moving the trees, but it's you can the sound of wind moving trees, but there's a particularly strong creaking of trees somewhere.
Kent, I'm going to let you decide what we're doing on this one, because I almost want to just fucking ignore it and keep going, because I feel like I know what it is.
Oh, yeah. We are intelligent players. We
are well aware that Amos is hanging from a tree. God damn it. Hey, Hester, make this decision. I gotta go pee.
It's more fun as a GM when that your players know that something awful is happening, and you have to deal with it now. Yeah.
I'm just while Troy is in the bathroom, I had the thought he picked up his rifle and he knows it's Amos's rifle because it has the cookie logo. He had it engraved.
That's Amos. Famous Amos. Oh man, that's funny.
By the way, my third cold token was the one of the rune quests.
Oh hell, is that the clack? Is it the square?
Yeah, it's the square one. The clack.
Very cool.
Oh boy. Death and dismay.
Yeah.
Death, dismay, awesome. And bathroom breaks.
Yep. Scared Troy into peeing.
Yep. He's like, oh, there's a body in a tree. I got to take a piss quickly.
So for theatrical effect, Christian, can I smell and see if I can smell anything?
Yeah, 6.
Okay. 4.
Okay. You know the smell of blood when you smell it.
And it's not Tobias's.
Nope.
I mean, one of us is going to look in that tree, and we know it's going to be Nathan. So
Honestly,
look into the
let's send
tree.
Nathan to do it.
Nathan, go see the tree. Are you serious? You're going to send him to do it?
No, Hester is like he hears the heavy creak of what he would normally assume is just like would be like a tree rubbing up against another tree and heavy wind, but like the wind isn't that heavy right now. So he'll like look up towards that noise.
Can I call Hester? Can I signal you over to me first, real quick?
No, he's looking at it.
It's too
it's-
late. Okay.
It's too late.
Okay, so you definitely look. All right, so
I
I
look
mean,
at
it's that's out of vision range. Like it's still foggy enough where you look at the noise and you see
Yep.
there are two trees very very close together, and there's something in between the trees. And as you look at it more, and you can't help yourself. You kind of walk a little farther. It was like
Mhm.
right at the edge of what you could see out of the fog, but you walk farther toward it, and you see like kind of like stretched out crosswise between the two trees, hanging from something, is a body. And you walk closer and you see that it is Amos, and he's been disemboweled, and it's like his own intestines are actually strung up to like keep him strung like at the like Jesus between the two trees.
Ooh.
And he's just kind of like swaying in the wind, dead. Roll 1d6.
Yep. 5.
Okay, you don't freak out. Nathaniel
Hester, what did you see? Nothing.
Nathaniel was kind of like, I mean, was with you because he was
Yeah,
holding
he was
up,
with me because I was holding
so
up
he,
Tobias.
He went
Who's
with
holding up
he,
Tobias? You guys
Isn't-
fucking took Tobias?
Amos,
He can't see it.
Amos, oh sweet Jesus, Amos, and he books it now. He just books into the woods.
Oh,
I'm-
God. Damn it.
I'm gonna while
So-
still trying to hold up Tobias, like he's going to
Hester,
Hester's
grab
going
him.
to try to reach out before he can bolt to grab his shoulder, but
D6.
rolled away. Nope. 2.
Okay, you grab him just for a second, but he slips right out of your grasp, books it into the woods. Doesn't get very far. You can hear him crashing. All of a sudden, you hear a scream, a shot that just echoes through the woods, and this like that same horrible cawing screech that you heard when you hear that again, and it just like screams for a while, and then they stop. Gain one more cold token.
We are up to 4. We are up to...
I got the other.
That is the lunar, I think, right? Yeah.
The lunar, the
Yeah.
circular one.
Yeah.
The one that doesn't look like it should be like a lunar. Like I honestly believe like this the square one looks like better manufactured, and that's what I think like
Yeah.
lunar should be. And then like
Yeah.
this one seems like it should be like hastily pressed, just like oh yeah, like whatever kind of like small clan stomp. There we go.
Yep. There we go.
So
We
I
done
was
did it.
using regular like US currency coins, but I'm actually going to switch to my metal dowels from Shadows of Esterin,
Ooh, nice.
the currency that they use in Shadows of Esterin.
Very cool.
So now I have 4 of those.
Awesome that we have all this like stuff from these different games, though.
We're so
such-
nerdy, and I fucking love it.
We're such nerds, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. All right.
Okay, so Nathaniel's dead, which is great. I'm
Just
I'm gonna
cross
say
him off the
this.
list. Hold on.
Hey,
It's a
if this is
satisfying thing as a GM.
If this is
Okay.
cool with you, Hester,
Sure.
I'm
Yep.
gonna say maybe for what I want to try to do, perhaps maybe you ran out towards Nathaniel a little bit, got a hold of him, but you're maybe maybe a couple dozen feet away, 2 dozen feet away, and I kind of went and grabbed Tobias. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So there is a moment right now that goes through my head where it's just me and Tobias.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about that thing that Tobias saw that he knows that happened, and how, aside from the other person, for the players, for those watching, Edward had an affair with the pastor's wife,
Abigail.
with Abigail, and Tobias found us And he is the only one that knows that this happened between us, other than Abigail, obviously. And there is a moment where I'm thinking of Tobias and how easy it would be to just leave him in these woods. And my secret would be safe forever. And I
Just
kind of
piling up the sins, Edward is.
I think about it. And I help Tobias up to his feet. And I say, Tobias, we've been through some rough spots before. We'll get out of this together, just like we did before.
He just kind of shakes his head and he's like, "We won't, Edward. We won't. Don't you see, Edward? If thine eye doth offend thee, thou shalt pluck it out. Don't you see?" And he like rips the thing off, and you're like looking into these empty sockets. And he's like, "Don't you see, Edward? We're not getting out of these woods, and we don't deserve to."
Hester?
And he feels on the ground, and he finds Nathaniel's gun.
No, I have. Oh, Nathaniel.
Nathaniel's gun.
So he moves ahead a little bit, or
Take
Nathaniel
that
maybe
back.
dropped
No,
it.
you know, he doesn't. He doesn't. Nathaniel
Okay.
ran off with his gun. I take that part
Yeah.
back, actually, because that's not something I want to go. I had an idea, and I'm not going there this game. So, yeah, he's like, "We're not getting out of this woods alive."
I think to that I'm gonna muster up every last bit of courage that I have, and I'm gonna say, I am getting out of these woods alive.
And
then I'll say, Hester. Hester, let's go.
Yeah, we can.
We're booking it as fast as Tobias's fucking blind ass will run. Fucking blind asshole.
So you take Tobias, and you begin heading and roll 1d6 to see if you're going in the right direction.
Both of us.
Yeah.
My first failure.
Nope.
Okay.
I got a 3.
You begin
I got a
heading in
2.
a direction. You think it's the right direction, but that wind and that mist just picks up even more. And you just like, I mean, it's a forest. It all looks the same. And you're just wandering through that mist. And as time goes on, you become separated. Who's holding up Tobias?
I was going to say we're both holding Tobias.
You're both holding him up? Okay, you're both holding him up. Never mind.
Honestly, so there is a chance, like, I would definitely say that I, for whatever reason, because we're doing this on Zoom for chats benefit, I'm looking at Zoom, and for whatever reason, I thought Troy's screen was my screen for a half second. When his son walked up behind him, I was just like, "Who's behind me?"
It's Tobias.
It's Tobias. Shit. The nerves are getting to me.
Hey, I'm doing my job. Nah.
I'm sweating, which, to be fair, could just be baseline.
That's just the corn.
That's just the corn.
It's the children in the corn. They're coming to get you.
Oh.
My children.
I can see Hester holding more of the weight of Tobias, like trying to get him to move at a more than a blind man's pace.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be possible that Edward is leading the way because he wants to get out of this forest alive.
You're not wrong.
So if that is, you know what?
I can get separated from him.
Why don't we roll to see if that happens?
Okay.
Just a straight D6 then?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
with your cold, but just roll.
Right.
Just to let's just see if that, subconsciously you're just in a hurry and you want to get out and you just ditch them. That's fair.
2.
Okay, you fell. All right. Edward, you're just like What's going through your mind when we I'll put that in your court, Troy.
I think honestly, the biggest thing that's going through my mind right now is there's two things. So the first is that image of Tobias when he ripped off his thing and he said, they see our sins and we're not worthy and we're not going to make it out of here. Like that's just drilled into his mind. But then the other thing that he's thinking of is Sarah. And he's thinking of that when she kind of collapsed in his arms when he was holding her, and he felt that he was like her strength in that moment. And that is something that is giving him just whatever shred of solace he has left in this moment. So he's a very conflicted man. Those are the two things that are weighing heavily on him right now.
Awesome stuff, Troy. So that's on your mind, and you're so wrapped up in that and
I'm
in
not
your own
paying
world
attention.
that you're not paying attention, and
Nope.
you just outpace Hester and Tobias. And I mean, it's the sort of thing where you get 10 feet away from someone and like they can't even see you
Yeah.
at this point. And so you're just like, they're gone. You realize before you realize it, they're gone.
I can see Hester, like he notices that he's being outpaced, but Edward's such in his own world, thinking of like just lost in his own thoughts that he can't hear Hester
Mhm.
calling out to him before it's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. That works really well. You're calling out to me, and there's nobody's home.
And that's it. You do. And you just watch him just not listen and head into the woods without you. And Hester, you're alone with Tobias, who you realize is becoming heavier and not praying as much anymore.
He's got my Bible, that son of a bitch.
And you're just like, at this point, you're just kind of like dragging him.
Yeah. He'll try to. Hester is going to talk to Tobias and try to keep him up, and it's like keep. Where did he put Edward's Bible? Did he put it in a pocket, or was he trying to carry it?
You put it in your fucking eyes.
Wizard wallet.
Damn it,
Yes.
come on. Stop rolling on slanted objects.
Curled it
6. Yeah.
Okay, you succeed. It is still clutched in his hands.
I'll because we're already lost sight of Edward. I'll kind of stop and hoist him up more on his feet, and I'll take the hand that's clutched the Bible, and I'll put it to his chest.
Mhm.
And I was just like, don't lose hope, Tobias. We're going to make it out of this. Remember.
Yeah. Good night, boys. Love you. Love you, Gabe. Good night, bud. Can't check the messages.
I saw it.
This is judgment. This is judgment for my own sins. Leave me. Oh.
It may be judgment of your own sins, but you can live with the judgment. You don't have to die here. Just think of your daughter. Think of Sarah. Think of not leaving her alone or wondering where you died and how you died. We'll make it out. We'll make it back. You just have to carry on.
He would looks like he would close his eyes to kind of you know, you close your eyes, but he doesn't have them anymore. But he kind of makes that same gesture, but with just empty, with his head, right?
Yep.
And he's like, "Oh, Sarah." And he kind of grips that Bible closer. And he's like, "You're a good man, Hester, for not leaving me." And he kind of grips you closer. And he's like, "Right, let's go." You hear a caw in the woods. Not too far, but not too close either. That same screech that you heard before. And he's like, oh, sir, God preserve us.
Hester will when the call sounds, he'll like turn and yell into the trees. S- Uh, leave us alone, you demon birds. Haven't you taken enough already?
There is no answer.
And we'll
There's
continue.
just an answer on the wind. No.
Never. Okay. Do you want to share Troy's excellent suggestion and take it, or what do you do?
He's got some
I
renewed
am
purpose,
not-
renewed vigor.
He does have some renewed vigor, but I don't think it's enough to for him to lead the way.
But still doesn't have eyes. Got it.
Yeah.
Roll me a die, but this isn't in the rules. But like subtract. What were we at? 4?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
I'm at
have
4.
4 coins right now.
Subtract
So
the
he-
coin for this roll. For this roll only.
Okay.
All right.
You can flip a coin.
I got a 6.
Okay.
Hey,
Keep that in mind. All right. Edward.
Edward.
You roll me too. You don't get to take anything away. Just roll it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
5. I got it.
Oh, okay.
Damn.
You're,
I do have 2 guns though, so that's basically a +1 for me.
you're,
The gods are with me.
you realize that you've left Hester and Tobias. But you also swear you smell wood smoke. No, you smell wood smoke. You're not far at all.
Is the wind blowing in my direction? Like, does it make sense that I smell wood smoke?
It's swirling now because of the trees in the storm.
See, I like that less.
I know.
I like that less. This sounds more like a seance than the way to town. You son of a bitch. I will stop running for a second, take a couple deep breaths, and then I'll yell out Hester's name as loud as I can.
Okay.
Hester! Just like veins popping out of my neck, and I'll just yell it like several times.
They're in the distance. You hear yelling of your name. Tobias. Not Tobias. I'm sorry, Edward. You yell that several times. And then you realize you're not alone.
I kind of stop yelling when I get that
Something's
feeling.
standing behind you.
I think I'll try to turn around and stab it with my bayonet without knowing what it is. I'm just going to try to stab.
You turn with the bayonet, and it's
Just kind of one fell swoop. Wham.
far away. You turn to do that, and realize it's too far away for you to like get at it. It was back in the fog.
Sure.
But standing in the fog, just at the edge of the fog, is this this is a beautiful young woman. And you see naked out in this rain. Doesn't seem to be bothering her. She's got this long black hair that just hangs over down to these just beautiful breasts that you can see like her naked torso. The mist still swirls around her legs, but she's just looking at you. There's a very friendly look on her face.
I kind of do one of these, like shake my head, kind of wipe my eyes, see if she goes away.
She smiles, and she's got very, very red lips. And she says, "You're an awful far from home, are you not?"
I'll say my home is with the Lord. He's with me everywhere.
Is he? She steps a little bit closer.
I take a step back. Just unconsciously, I even take a step back, right? Like like prey moving away from a predator.
Fair. She sees that and she laughs and she goes, she looks down at herself and kind of like, twirls her finger in her hair a little bit. And she kind of like does this thing. And she goes, do you like what you see?
I kind of swallow hard and
It's okay. I know you do.
I say I see the forked tongue of a serpent.
I think you see much more than that. I think you see pleasure, maybe a little bit of heaven. You want me.
I think like a couple of beads of sweat like now
Yeah.
like descend down his neck, you know.
Yep. You want me, don't you?
Edward takes another step back and he looks at her. He kind of looks around up at the trees, like looking for any of those birds or if he sees any movement, anything like that.
No, you can do it. No, Abigail enjoyed her time with you, did she not? Steps
He, like-
closer again.
He like clenches his jaw. This time he doesn't move when she takes a step forward. He like clenches his jaw a little bit. And Edward is going to try to do something very sneaky here. Okay.
Okay.
So what Edward is going to try to play off
Uh-huh.
is that he is succumbing to this carnal pleasure.
Yep.
He's going to feed into it. He's going to kind of drop his weapon, like lower his weapon down, and start trying to move towards her in a trance. And when he gets close to her, he's going to try to stab her with his bayonet.
I love it. Okay.
That is what he's going to try to do.
Roll.
God damn it. This is going to go so bad. A 4. I failed.
Okay.
So whether I fail, meaning I miss her with my stab, or whether I act too well and do succumb to my carnal pleasures, that's on you, Mr. GM. I'm good with either. I think both could work really well for this story.
Okay, so if it's okay with you, I will go with option
Take
2.
it. Take the reins.
Okay,
Yeah. Maybe
okay, I'm
maybe
gonna
it's
go-
both. Maybe it's
Yeah.
both. Maybe I try to stab her, but it's non-committal, and maybe she like grabs my hand or grabs the weapon or something.
That's exactly what I was going to go with.
And then I drop it. Yeah, buddy.
You have this plan in your head, Edward, and you're like, I got to do this. And you're like, you subconsciously almost like fumble at your pocket for that Bible, but it's not there anymore. And you're like, I'm on my own. And she's coming closer to you and she's like putting her arms out to embrace you. And the last moment, you're kind of like, it's very half-hearted. She kind of catches the rifle in her hand and she laughs. And she's like, Edward. She kind of just throws it aside as she puts her arms around you. And you look down through the fog. You see that her feet are crow's feet. As she kisses you and she bites into your lip where you start bleeding. You don't have time to scream.
No, damn it. Listen,
Sure.
everyone else in this forest got fucked. At least I got laid.
Esther, you stumble through the woods. It feels like forever. And it's getting dark. But finally, somehow, you hear the stream and you smell wood smoke. And you see the edge of the stream. You see the edge of the forest.
I'll say to Tobias, it's like we've made it. The stream is right in front of us. Like we're almost back. We're almost home.
He's like, he's kind of back into his like mumbling of Psalms and just like holding tight to that Bible.
Give him a slap on the shoulder. You can make it home from here, right, bud?
You're good, bro. You're good, bro. Just leave him blind, wandering through the woods. So you have to drag him.
Yep.
But you manage to get to the stream and just at this point, like it doesn't matter. It's like waist deep, but you're just like drag him through the stream. You need to get the fuck out of that forest. And you make it over the stone field into the I'm gonna say the Johnson's farm, because why not? And you see like someone come out the back. You recognize Jedediah Johnson, and he's just like, God, Hester. And he comes running over and grabs you guys, but you made it out of the Winterwood. I think we'll end there.
Well done, boys.
Dude, you. So I
I'm
need
so
to say,
happy with how that ended, Christian.
Yeah,
that was
thank
such
you.
that was such a great collaboration between the
it
two
was.
of us.
It really was, and I wanted to talk about it for a minute because like we have a handful of viewers still, but the only scenario in the book was that there was a skinwalker woman who changed from a bird to a crow. She was in the forest and she took Tobias. That was it. Like everything else,
was
what you saw here, we collaborated with together to create. And I think that's like just a testament to like the power of role playing and sitting together and telling stories with your
for
friends.
sure.
Where like you come up with stuff that's just amazing. And that was just like parts of that I had chills because it was like, damn, this is going so well. Yeah.
I think it goes back to so much of it too with any role playing game is it's the beginning, it's the character creation, right? It's giving your characters real shit that actually matters to them, giving them flaws, giving the DM those knives that he can twist, right? That's what it's all about, man. Like you can't look at role playing games as like I'm gonna win. This is not the way that works.
That was a morality tale that we just made, right?
Mhm.
And the only people who made it out of the woods, one of them was he literally had the biblical thing of like if thy eye doth offend you, pluck it out. He saw you engaging in an affair and was keeping it secret, right? And so he was punished for it. Hester was the only person who never broke faith, right?
Yeah,
And you
I
made
lied.
it out unscathed. You lied. You manipulated. You had a secret that you like of the people. John did not. Edward did not deserve to make it out. Amos and Thaddeus lost their faith. Not Thaddeus. Nathaniel lost their faith.
Yeah, lost their courage. Yeah,
lost their courage. Yeah, that's like, damn. That wound up being amazing. I'm really proud of that.
Yeah, that came out so good, Christian. You did a great job with that.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I mean, like, folk horror is my jam, but that was like way better than I ever expected it to go. So thank you, guys. Yeah,
I really, I think about that last scene with both with Hester and Tobias too, like having like reassuring him, like, dude, we got this. Think of Sarah, right? And like that was enough to get him through it. And I love that because if we're going off of like the Judeo-Christian idea and the Protestant idea and all that stuff, it's like, yeah, people are punished for their sins, but like through Christ, we have eternal life. He died so that you may live, right?
Yep.
So that's really cool that you guys kind of took that thing, like his daughter, right? That's something that rooted him in this world. That's something he had to live for despite everything else. And I also really like that because Edward was obviously, he was not a super great person, but he did genuinely care about the people. Like he was a caretaker, right? Mm-hmm. So he did the lies that he told and that kind of stuff. He did it to try to protect the people that he was with, to try to save Tobias. Okay, in a little bit, but okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no, so, that was really awesome. And just the what was the point? I was going to say something and I lost my point, but no, it was really great. You giving me the secret of the fact that Tobias knew that Edward had an affair with Abigail, who again, Abigail was a throwaway name I just picked out. I was like, oh yeah, this is the minister's wife. And you gave me, that's such a good example of a knife when you talk about like, as a player, when you make a character, give your GM knives because they're things that they can use to turn around and cut you with. And that was just perfect.
Right.
Absolutely perfect.
It lent to not only like the lust, right, that my character suffers with, but also with Tobias. Like, why was he punished? Right, he was punished for keeping a secret.
Yep.
Right. So that was perfect, man. And honestly, that last scene too with that demon bird lady.
Yeah.
I love that idea that he tried to fight it. Right. He really did. And then he tried to stab her. But like realistically, if he really had committed, he could have, but he didn't. And then he paid dearly for it. Right. He at the last moment, that last test, he failed. Right. He faltered.
So the Troy had put a suggestion in the Zoom chat, which I would have ran with 100%, which was
if that was like Amber,
let
bro.
Tobias leave the way out. Yeah, because he was blind, but he had the Bible, so blind faith leads the way out. I would have you wouldn't even had a roll. I would just be like, yeah, he get out. Like it would have taken a while, but he would have gotten out. Yeah,
that would have been a cool role playing opportunity too, right?
Yeah.
Tobias, hey, we're gonna get out of here, and you're gonna get us out of here. Lead the way. I will.
It's amazing. So the one of my favorite films that I've ever seen in my life, and I recommend anybody go and watch it, it's Akira Kurosawa, who is a Japanese filmmaker. He made this film, Ran, R-A-N, and Ran is the Japanese word for chaos, or I think, don't shoot me if I'm 100% wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's chaos. But what it is, it's a retelling of King Lear, but in I think it's the Edo period of samurai Japan, right? So it's Shakespeare's King Lear, but in Japan. But there's this end scene, and there's a blind guy that the castle's burned, everything's gone to hell, everybody who's important is dead. King Lear realizes he fucked up and he kills himself or dies, and this guy who was part of his court, who was blind, was trying to save their sacred scrolls, right? And so he had escaped the castle, but he's wandering around blind in the wilderness, and eventually he loses the scrolls too. And so he's just wandering around completely alone and blind in the wilderness, and he's now lost God as well. And he's just lost, and that's the last scene of the movie. I just spoiled it, but it's been out since the 60s. And so, but still, it always it stuck with me forever, because it was just such it was just an example of great filmmaking, because it was just an image, but it was such a powerful expression of the human condition. You've lost your society, you've lost everything that mattered, you've lost God, and now you're wandering blind in the wilderness without a hope of anyone helping you. And I was that amazingly, we recreated that somewhat tonight, right? And it was just so cool. Yeah. It's amazing how those things come together. But
this is also the second time you've strung someone from their own organs, by the way, on stream. The first being Mothership.
Yeah.
This is a theme with you, Christian.
Those organs are pretty strong.
They are. They for sure are.
Yeah.
So two things. First thing, going with the innards thing. I recently learned that when surgery is done on abdominal things, they literally just take them and just throw them back in you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. There's no
procedure. There's just they'll figure themselves out. Just
exactly. This will sort itself out.
And the second thing I was thinking of is as I was giving Tobias the pep talk of just think of your daughter, in the back of my head was just now she's gonna have to take care of a blind man. And it's maybe it would be better if he would just be left in the forest to die, so that she doesn't have to take care of a blind man for the rest of her life.
Oh my goodness. That is hilarious, Ken. That's so funny.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Regarding the organ thing though, Ken, it makes perfect sense, right? Think about the firefighter training, right? It's when you have a rope bag, you just cram it in. That is the way that you make it so it doesn't knot or jam. You literally just stuff rope into a bag.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Just keep stuffing it in.
It's not coiled or anything. You just stuff it in.
Nope. You literally stuff. You mindlessly stuff, and that is
because
the way
it'll come out the way you stuff it in.
Right.
But the human stuff, they'll I've heard reports of people who've had abdominal surgery where they've had to take intestines and stuff out and put them back in. You could feel them rearranging themselves inside you after surgery.
That's not cool.
Which is weird to think about.
Yeah, that's not cool at all.
Yeah, buddy. So while we've still got a few folks on our stream, I think if it's cool with you guys, I'd be down, unless Sarah just changes her mind and wants to run the next one. She's got dibs if she does.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I'd be down.
Yeah, I'm totally down. I would love that.
And then what I'll do is I'll go through, because I bought 2 or 3 of those itch bundles that have hundreds of games in them each.
Yep.
And I'll find something that's horror related that'll be a good one shot.
Yeah,
and
sounds great to me, man.
Talk to y'all this week, and I'll put something together for next week. That'll be good.
Oh, cool. Sounds great, man.
I also have something. If things go awry, I have the what is it? Our Woodland Gods
Oh,
One.
if you want to run something, bud, I want you to do it because I've run games before for us. You haven't.
Yeah.
So if you want this to be
Yeah.
your
I
do
I
it.
can I can do that because what next week is going to be
Or it would be 2 weeks,
the
right?
Two
So it would
weeks.
be the
Yeah.
19th.
Yeah.
the
19th is the next
19th.
one. Yeah.
So,
And I should be available for that one. I'm not working on the 19th. So
but yeah, so I have Our Woodland Gods, which is a nice little folksy horror bit where like your woodland creatures
mhm.
who their god has recently died.
Okay.
So you're making a new one.
Ooh, okay.
That's cool.
I like that.
And
And then
is very
the
much
following-
a culty game.
Okay.
So
I'm sure that would be good. I'd be down.
I'm down for it.
this-
I'm down for whatever.
The 2nd of November would be the stream after that, right?
Yeah.
Christian, are we planning a return to
Yeah,
RuneQuest?
I think at that point we'll be done because like Halloween, spooky month is over.
Yep.
So we'll be back.
I mean, it's
Smart.
not truly over.
No, I mean it's never over for me, but
No,
yeah,
I'm hoping at that
it's not
point-
over until Thanksgiving.
it's still
Right.
not over then for me. My Christmas shirt is actually I have a T-shirt. I got a new one now that I'll tell you about. Christmas T-shirt for Christmas. That's it's what's the little dentist guy's name in the the Rudolph.
Oh yeah.
It's just his face and it says Misfit. So that's my
Oh,
T-shirt
yep,
for this
nice.
Christmas. But my main T-shirt for Christmas is just Jack Skellington saying, "What's this?" It's like
Nice.
even at Christmas I wear that. So
Yeah.
That's dope.
yeah.
Yeah.
What's this?
So,
What's
so
this?
as it stands right now, November 2nd, I have work, but I don't think I'll actually have work because I think by then I won't be at Newton.
Yeah, we
in
got to get
theory-
Kyrie's back on, dude. He's been
Yeah,
around.
in
way
theory.
a while.
So I'm hoping
Yeah.
I can put my 2 weeks in on the 15th of this month, which means my last day at Newton would be the 28th of October, which means unless they start me on a Saturday, which I don't
Yep.
anticipate they
Yeah,
would,
probably not.
probably be off.
Which
So-
would be great because you'll be there for Descara's wedding.
Probably
What
not
the
next
fuck? I
episode,
can't
but the
miss
episode
that,
after.
dude.
Yeah, probably not that episode, but the one after. It
Okay.
would be. Yeah. Because we've got to. You still got to finish hunting down the Tusk Riders,
Yeah, that's
and
true.
then
We gotta-
and then it'll go.
get that other
Sacred
thing
Time is
together.
when your wedding's going to be.
Yep.
Yeah. I've got some real good stuff for Sacred Time that I've done. Not
I'm
like
excited.
game
I'm
stuff, just
excited to
stuff
get
that
back
I've done
to it.
that I'm very proud of that has come out the way it's come out. But
Lots
it's a
of
surprise,
knives?
so I can't tell you. No, not knives, just stuff that I sat down and I'm like, I want to create this for them because they deserve it. And I'm just like, don't want to pat my own back, but I'm very happy with the way it came out. That's all I'm gonna say.
Can't wait. Reese needs
Yeah.
to come back. You need somebody to carry the rocks.
He does. He does indeed. Yep.
Will we have, this is the question that is on every viewer's mind, let's be
Mhm.
honest, is will we have a return of the Kawat shaman fucking brother.
The Hulk Hogan shaman. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he was way too
Okay,
popular.
good.
He's totally coming back. I actually toyed with the idea because he was so popular of that, and I'm still working. I'm still think I might do it. Of like every time you meet a shaman, he's just going to be another famous wrestler. So the next one will be like, oh yeah. So let me tell you, the cream of the crop's going to rise to the top. Yeah, and then it's just going to just meet different ones.
I 100% want that to happen, and one of them has to be like a madman that is Mick Foley.
Oh yeah, just leaps out of a tree, lands on the ground, breaks
See, like,
something.
He's
like,
Mick
you know,
Foley, but
what
he every time we meet him, he has a different personality.
Yeah.
One of them's gonna be
Like-
Cactus Jack.
That could be so dangerous for Chimera Sparrow. I imagine him just coming across a shaman who's Rishiki and just ass cheeks his face. Chimera is just like, oh
It's becoming-
god.
that will happen in the campaign. Then we will have
Please
wrestling
no.
shamans. Yes.
Wrestling shamans.
Oh my goodness. Oh gosh. Okay.
That's
Well,
awesome. I think we need to sign off. Sarah
Yep,
usually does
yep.
this, so
Yeah, that's
I'll do
the-
it again. It's fine. So thank you all for watching us for this really cool. It's funny because like the one shots always like wind up being really good for the most part. I mean, there's been a couple
agree.
that have like fallen flat or just grandma club, but
not Fishblade.
not Fishblade. I actually watched Fishblade the other day and it was still hysterical. But But thank you for our first Halloween spooky month one shot. I'm glad, really glad it came out as well as it did. And just, if you're out there, like, if you only have a couple friends to play with, don't think you need like 4 or 5 or 6 people to play a game with. Like, there's 3 of us here. One of us, like, is the GM, and it's still wound up really good. You can still have a lot of fun. So don't let it stop you, no matter how many people you have to play with. Kent and I even had something lined up that it was a 2-player game if Troy couldn't make it for whatever reason.
Right.
So yeah,
you and Rainey did freaking
couple times. We did. I have the high ground. Yeah, we've done stuff like that too. It's possible. Those games are out there. And Kent and Jess did Tangled Blessings on podcast too.
Right.
So
that was another thing I was going to suggest, because there's the Tangled Blessings,
the new ones out.
Like not quite rehash, but like additive to it, which I believe both me and Rainey had backed, and I'm getting I got the physical copy coming in.
Oh, cool.
So.
Cool.
If I can interject, Christian, I just wanted to say we super appreciate all of you guys that stick around. Check us out. It's crazy to think we've been doing this now for 3 years. It literally started as something we just wanted to do for fun, right? And it still is something that truly, at the heart of it all, we just do for fun. But you guys are fantastic. We love being engaged in the chat during our games. You guys give us, you give us stuff that we incorporate in our games, and it just makes it feel like we have an even bigger group at our gaming table, right?
Absolutely.
So thank you guys so much for your loyal support, for your loyal subscriptions, for your hanging out with us until the freaking wee hours of the morning over the Atlantic Ocean and everything.
It's crazy.
Fucking awesome. We really
it literally blows my mind that like John will hang out with us until what is like you said, the wee hours of the morning. It's so cool. And I think it's a testament to like the gaming community, and obviously all communities have bad things, but the gaming community at its best. Right. So again, like 100%. You said, thank you guys so much. We are DMs After Dark anywhere that we're worth finding, Instagram, Blue Sky, Facebook. You can email us at dmsafterdark@gmail.com. We will be back in 2 weeks' time, returning to another spooky game to be announced.
Yep.
Awesome.
So until then, don't walk in Winterwood. Good night, guys.